And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angels and demons and monsters and serpents. This is Brothers of the Serpent, and we are coming to you live from the 10x10x10 Tangent Cube of Science, where we are nestled amongst the dusty bones of an ancient seabed high atop the Edwards Plateau, and we are exactly on time. Exactly. Perfectly on time. I don't know what the chat is talking about, saying we're freaking late. This is exactly on time.
This is podcast exact time.
Yes.
Oops.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the Santa time.
Started the timer exactly on time.
And we have a ton of emails to go through. You guys have anything other than emails we're going to discuss?
I don't know.
No,
probably not.
They're both sick.
Yeah.
I was telling the Discord, I'm like in here risking my life to do this show.
I'm not contagious.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, it's like the end of a cold and sinus infection. So
Yeah,
We got
been
the
doing
remnants.
a lot of sleeping.
Yeah.
that's good.
I did finish a song. That was
Okay.
great.
Yeah, that's good.
He tried to sing it in bed to me. We both have congestion everywhere, and we're trying to talk music in there and see how it sounds. Sounded pretty good for having congestion.
Oh, thanks.
We've also been. This is the other cool thing. We've been getting our dive certification. So we're getting open water dive certification. And I'm interested in like the deeper water stuff as well, and some other of the more specialized things. But man, it's been really fun. Like, because these two are sick, like you're not supposed to dive with any kind of sinus issues, right? Because you can really hurt yourself in
Really bad.
really badly when you're ascending after you've gone down to depth and you're at pressure. When you're ascending, if there's like pockets of compressed air in your sinuses that can't escape. So anyway, we didn't do any actual dives yet, but we went in last weekend and we did all the academic part. Like we went through a whole bunch of information. And the guy there is really cool, very knowledgeable. He's like a military doctor, and he also specializes in scuba. And so it's been a lot of fun learning it. And I'm really excited to try this out. I think he's going to take us on a bunch of dives too, to teach us and everything. So I was thinking like, oh, it's one thing, and it's going to be multiple dives, possibly in different places.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
I'm excited, but I'm also, when I found out how dangerous it is and how many things could go wrong, I was like, and then the whole ear popping thing and the vertigo, I was like, I don't know.
Right, but then he made a great point that you put yourself in far more danger driving to the
hey,
course.
I'm going forward with it. I'm just letting you know I have a little But this weekend we go back in, if we can go back in.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure you guys are ready yet.
But whenever we get to go back, we
deal.
get to suit up this time. We get to put all the stuff on. And,
Yeah. We've finished the academic part, so everything else is the diving stuff. It's going to be fun, and we're doing that because, well, number one, you guys know we've been traveling a lot with Ben. Ben's been all over the world, and he wants to eventually do some dives. He's like, come on, get your dive certs. I know a whole bunch of places to go dive that are just cool for the coral and everything. But also, there's an idea that to follow a little bit in Graham Hancock's footprints in Underworld. Footprints? Fin marks? I don't know. From Underworld, and kind of go dive some ancient sites. And that would be awesome. Like, I'd love to do some diving off the coast of India, look at Dwarka, go to Yonaguni, obviously, Bimini Road.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yep.
The easy one
is Bimini.
Road,
20
so
feet.
we can go see it and just be like,
So get your
Get
dive
these eyes
cert. Get your diver cert if you want to go on these upcoming tours that are in the future at some point.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to do a dive tour.
That would be amazing.
Maybe. But it's just really cool to me how this, like, it's a relatively new technology, and it's still changing a lot.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the science on what happens to people when they dive and come back up is pretty new, so it's really interesting. And so it's actually something where it's like this can be changing drastically in the future. Like, all it would take is one more breakthrough in the type of air you use, and suddenly we don't have to worry about nitrogen narcosis anymore. If somebody can figure that out, it'd be amazing.
Yeah. and how they got to some of these things, how they figured out some things about it, dropping those military dudes down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I would not want to be one of those guys.
Yeah, listen, we need to use you for science. This is a classic, It's like, all right, you're in the military. Listen, we need to do some science. So put this thing on and dive down to 60 feet and stay there for an hour and then come up really fast so we can see what happens. You're healthy. You'll be fine, probably.
But I would like to go to space, but that won't be happening anytime soon. But with the diving, when I learn how to use all the gear, I am going to kind of feel like I'm in like a space suit or something.
Oh, you
like I'm going to know how to have to pull on this at this time and do this and push this button, and it's like I'm going to feel very empowered in the water, like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. And there's, just around here, there's places we can dive. I actually talked to him about we got a lake right next to us, and it kind of famously has an old town at the bottom. It's a man-made lake, so they kind of dammed the river and it filled up these valleys and flooded a town that was down in there. And I was like, yeah, we could dive the lake. And he's like, no. Number one, it smells horrible down at the bottom of that lake. And number two, it's so murky you can't see anything. I'm like, okay, well, dang, I wanted to swim through the church.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you guys updated on how that's all going.
Yeah. Maybe one of us will die. You never know.
Or maybe one of us will just throw up in their mask.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep.
Well, if you get vertigo
He did say that you can handle that, right?
Yeah, if you get vertigo down there and you feel nauseous and you throw up, you
Yeah.
pull the mask off, clear it, do the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll let you know if that ends up being me.
The other thing, I might just save this for the next time we have Marty on. But I have been... So Danny Jones just released an interview with Chris Bledsoe. So you guys know that we've discussed him quite a bit through Marty's work. So I was like, okay, I want to go listen to this guy because I know he's had some amazing experiences. So I listened to that episode, and listening to that guy discuss his experiences is amazing. I know that some of you, especially the ones that have really been following the UFO stuff, are probably familiar with it because he's done other interviews. But that was really an amazing conversation. And he took Danny the night before out and basically had him, they saw
abducted.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Chris this stuff is around him all the time now.
Oh.
Right. And his daughter. And so Chris was just like, yeah, let's go out and we'll watch. And I guarantee you we'll see some stuff. And they sure enough did. So Danny's just like, whoa, right? Blew his mind, which is awesome. It made me want to talk to him. I would love to talk to Chris.
Guy on our show?
Maybe, I don't know. Marty and I have been talking about it.
Because if he could come out here, then I would get to be in proximity to see stuff.
Yeah, so if either we get him out here or we go to his place. Apparently at this point, lots of people go to his house. His family is great. He seems, I'm not sure, but it sounds like he has people over there all the time, and people have experiences.
I want to see some stuff.
Yeah, maybe we could just go see him.
Nah, we just want to see the stuff in the sky.
That's what I mean.
Kidding.
Go to see him and go to the place where he had the experience and then see the stuff.
That'd be cool.
And meet the fam. He's got his whole family experiences this stuff now.
That's really cool.
I don't know how much it's very wrapped up in. There are high level government officials that got involved and
he's a spook.
I need to go listen to it too.
Yeah. So anyway, the story is fascinating, and I'll just mention this because I was like, yes, bro. He at some point Danny asks him about the moon, and Chris starts talking about things that he was told by this NASA guy who was famous for this NASA guy who was this amazing genius who got really interested in Chris's case.
Okay.
And this guy wrote the quote unquote wrote the book for NASA's studies on the moon or whatever. And he just Chris says that this guy told him that on the backside of the moon there are enormous structures that are ancient that we didn't build. And I'm just like, yes.
Tell me more.
I know, yeah. And then Danny goes, I knew the moon was a spaceship. And I'm like, yeah, bro, because you've been listening to Snake Bros.
Do the listeners know that you guys are going on Danny's show?
Now they do.
Oh. Was that not okay to say?
No, it's fine.
Another blooper.
We should be, yeah, like, you're going to ask that live on air? Because the answer is always yes.
Yeah, after I say it.
Yeah. So we've been talking to Danny, and Kyle and I are going to go down there in January. So we're going to go on his show. That ought to be fun. And also Matt Beal, we're going to go on his show as well, if everything works out. So, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Sometimes things have to get rescheduled.
Yeah.
But that's going to be cool.
Hopefully not, because we already have flights. Like,
Yeah. But that's all cool stuff.
And hey, Vince, thank you. $50 for dive gear.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Oh, some maple leaves for dive gear. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So yeah, if you guys haven't heard this, it's the Bledsoe interview with Danny Jones is the most recent podcast he's posted. So I recommend you go listen to it. It's really good.
Okay.
And you can tell that he's like, this stuff has really affected him. You know, like, he gets emotional talking about some of it because it's deeply affected him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go
This is
check
a
it
good
out.
point right here by Truth Seeker. Says, many of Chris's guests have brought home the phenomenon. Considering you have kids, think twice. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
it's-
good point.
Yep. It's hitchhikers for sure.
Yeah, it is a good point.
And
Okay, I'll remember my children.
Chris seems, I mean, he never comes out and says one way or the other, but he does sort of imply that he thinks this is a benevolent thing that's happening to him. But I know that a lot of people think it's probably, some of it can be evil. But who knows?
Well, I think it's probably a mixture.
It was
but that's just
definitely a religious experience for him, less so a technological one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ben is saying that he told Danny the moon was a spaceship.
What's up, Ben?
No, apparently. Okay,
Oh,
let me make sure I say
People
this right.
claimed that he said the moon was a
They
spaceship.
claimed that he said that.
Yeah, his detractors claim.
Right, but he didn't actually say that. Sorry, Ben. Now we're gonna have more detractors.
I'll say it. It's a spaceship.
It is a spaceship.
So is Earth.
So the other thing I want to say is the second Egypt tour is definitely a go. So we've released it early to the and I think we talked about this last time we had Ben on, but we released it early to patrons of our shows and also people who are on the wait list. But now anybody can start signing up. I think that Ben is going to probably release the website or the web page on his website where you go to sign up is going to be open to the public. So that'll be probably tomorrow. So just letting you guys know, if you want to go to Egypt, like, sign up for this tour. It would be great to see you guys there. It's going to be awesome. And Laura's going to be there. Kyle's whole family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and the kids.
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Troy. Hey,
Did we
Peter.
mi-
Peter Curtis.
Did we miss was there another Zach up there?
Oh, yeah.
Zach Wander, $10. Love the Snake fam. Merry Christmas. Waiting patiently for Peru.
Yes.
Yes. Dr. Rod Schelberg has sort of similar healing mysticism like Chris Bledsoe. Yeah. That's the other thing that Chris talks about is that, like, there are some healing events that happen with him. Yeah. That's really interesting. That's what I'm saying. It sounds religious, you know.
Hey, when
It's
I was
biblical,
listening to the UFO series, I heard somebody was cured of cancer in one of those
Yeah, well,
cases.
he was cured of Crohn's disease right off the bat by his
I
first
believe it.
encounter. And then, he keeps having these encounters. Then he gets a visit from what he calls the lady, but it's a classic Blessed Virgin Mary sighting, and then she tells him, and they say very biblical things to him, like, this is your burden to bear, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's like, it sounds very similar to
Yeah.
religious experiences.
At least they're not Mormon aliens.
What would they do, babe? What would a Mormon alien say?
They would tell you that you had to go dig a hole in the top of a mountain and find some stone tablets and translate them and then spread the word throughout the world.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird how these aliens seem to be connected to religious institutions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the very old religious institutions seem to have stemmed from these same kinds of encounters.
But is it weird or is it just the way it is, babe?
Well, it's both
Well,
of those
okay.
things. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, apparently he's got Christian aliens. Right? They're saying very biblical things.
Yeah, maybe.
It
so.
sounds biblical to me, but that's probably because of my own personal background, right? And Chris himself is a Christian. You can tell when he's talking. You know, he talks about prayer
Yeah,
and
so
how it
that's how he's
works. He
gonna
says
take it
that his
too.
family was like Pentecostal, you know, strict. Like he wasn't so involved or whatever, but his wife and his parents. So he's in that community, and like, of course, in the beginning, he was basically told like, those are demons, and you know, don't bring that demon crap here.
Yeah. Too late.
Yeah. But there's definitely tech involved, or it looks like technology, but other parts of it look very religious. So it just makes you wonder, you know, what's really happening here?
Yeah, I like wondering about that stuff. So I'm gonna go check out that episode.
Yeah, you should. Everybody should check it out. I'm now listening to a series of interviews with him from Richard Dolan's show. He did a 4-part series where he gets Chris to like really lay down all the details of his initial encounters, because it's a complex story. It's really good. He goes through it on the Danny Jones show, but there's not as many details. In this one, he's really getting into the details. And also, I think Chris has just published a book, so that might be why he's doing more interviews.
Oh, okay.
UFO of God is what it's called.
Ooh. Kyle's ready to move on.
Yeah, Kyle's like, okay.
Can we be done with this and go to the next section?
So yeah, if you're interested in the Egypt tour, the second one, the Kemet School's website has it up for registration if you're interested to go there. And then, you know, but the easiest way to find it will be Ben's website, unchartedx.com tours. Okay, let's go to emails.
All right.
Emails.
Kyle's like, finally.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not saying the stuff that's on my mind. You guys are misinterpreting my silence.
Why are you doing that?
Why are you doing that?
What's going on here?
Because it's no good.
Oh, okay.
It's lame. So I'm just staying quiet.
Okay, maybe there'll be something I can comment on in one of these emails. Maybe there's something I know about in one of these things.
Who knows? Some of these are pretty old. This is August. Look at this. We're all the way back in August here. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, so this is from Manticore. It says, good morning, Russ. Had to send some value for all the value I have gotten from listening. When I ran out of Cosmo shows, I listened to some of Ben's Precision vids, got bored, and gave you guys a shot. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Ben. I could not stop until I basically caught up. I haven't even been listening to music, just snakes. Last time I was in Texas was for a magazine-fed paintball game near Austin called Snake Eater. Weird coincidence.
Wow.
P.S. Manticore is a chimera creature, bipedal large cat of choice plus bird of prey wings and a draconian tail. So I'm about 1/3 snake. Hope that's Ophidian enough for y'all, and I hope this wasn't a book. Manticore. Yeah, thank you. Man, I didn't realize you trashed Ben in there. I would have read this sooner.
How dare you? Trash bin live on the air.
Yeah, you need to proofread this stuff better, Russ.
I proofread it a long time ago. Yeah, I guess.
Now we have to give Ben equal time.
Oh, no.
Hey, I did
only
know what a
fair.
manicore was, though, only because I've seen that movie Onward with the kids. And there's a manicore in there. But I didn't have to ask. It wasn't over my head.
I wonder if that was in response to him donating. I think that's why I had it in there, because he said he was giving value back.
Oh.
That must be what that was. It was a donation note. Okay.
He donates and then he trashes
Speaking
it.
of that,
Yeah, classic.
Speaking of that, the PayPal donation notes, I feel like they're letting people write more and then they don't show me the whole thing. That's what it always looks like.
Can you open it in your browser in the phone and see all of it? Or I mean, I know you want to use
I've
the
done
app.
this before.
You've done this before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I can. Anyways.
Yeah, and today we're going to do the patron producers, because it is the beginning of the new month. Okay. So this is called Down Tools by Jeff, or Captain River Rat. Hey, Snake Bros. I have finished every episode. Some I have listened to multiple times. I have ran through all of the Marty-sodes and Patreon extras over and over again. You guys have brought up a topic so many times that I can't count them. Hell, even Russ's presentation, Unfinished, centers on it. Then there's the lack of human skeletal remains for so many civilizations. How can so many places all over the world show evidence of tools down seemingly simultaneously? Then Marty said something that kind of connected the dots and possibly solidified what keeps popping up in my head since the first time I heard you say downed tools. What if it's proof of the resurrection? Or something akin to it anyway. Marty said about the phenomenon of aliens, angels, demons, spirits, creatures of myth. What if it's all the same thing, but humans have just used different names for the same thing? In that same spirit, what if downed tools was a resurrection, but it was the phenomenon that orchestrated it to save the people of the planet? What if a resurrection happens every time a major cataclysm is about to happen, and that's how the species has survived? Anyways, just had to get that out of my skull. Thanks again for all you do, Captain River Rat. P.S. Serpent sods are still better enjoyed at 2x speed. Snacks! Oh, man. 2x speed. Yeah, I don't know. It's, is it, what kind of resurrection are you implying?
You're taking the old disintegrated bones and putting them back together?
I don't know.
It's using all of their biological material?
Like, is he talking about, like, a form of rapture? Is that what he's...
That's what
I
I'm
was
thinking.
going to
But
ask.
it's like,
I was not
why are the
clear.
materials needed?
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. That's just my own. That just is a window into the way I look at what a person is. Why do you need the old dusty bones?
Yeah. Or even the physical body of a living person. Like, what is the purpose of that, right?
Like, in terms of a resurrection, I thought what he was saying is the reason why we don't find, like, possibly the reason why we don't find the remains of the civilization is because they're resurrected.
Yeah.
So if it goes for 10,000 years or something, the people that died at the beginning are like dust.
Yeah.
So you
Yes,
gotta collect
okay, I
all the
see what you
dust
mean, yeah.
from everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know. That's,
yeah, okay. I get it. You're right. That is what he's talking about. I was thinking... No, you're right, because some of these events last for thousands of years, so it's not like everybody dies on the same day and then you resurrect all their bodies and start a new civilization or something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And anyway, it's I mean, do you believe in rebirth, reincarnation? So do all these people end up showing up anyway? I mean, how I've seen this in it's sort of crystal hippie kind of thing, but like the people who had past lives in Atlantis are now being reincarnated,
I haven't heard that one yet.
I mean, yeah, it's real woo. I'm just saying.
Okay.
What kind of resurrection are we talking about here? Oh, we got David Lane.
Yeah. It says, Russ called attention to the blocks in the Sphinx enclosure. Be advised, it wasn't blocked up until after Robert Schock called attention to the age.
Which blocks?
What?
I mean, there's a lot of blocks there, and some of them are like Roman. I mean, some of them are...
No, but... What, in the enclosure? You mean on the Sphinx? The blocks on the Sphinx?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's old masonry in there.
So he's saying that the masonry put on the Sphinx itself was put in after Robert Schock called attention to the age of the enclosure. Okay. But the enclosure is still exposed.
Yeah.
And that's what gives you the indication of the age.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Kyle's here to skirp you guys today.
I'm sorry. Maybe I got a bad attitude or something.
I was reading another comment.
All right, so we got another one from Crypto Bindu, $15. All right, brothers of Wiggly Ones. How serious
Danger
do you
noodles.
take Timothy Hogan's claims of multiple arcs and Jesus' bones? Not.
Yeah.
Are you pursuing the matter any further? Thanks and happy holidays. I'll just, yeah.
Yeah. Not seriously.
Not seriously.
At all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donation,
Yeah.
buddy.
Thank you.
And sorry for the attitude. Thought on Fire 222, 555. The moon is home to many. Also, I believe that its introduction to the Earth's orbit could have caused the end of the Younger Dryas. Snakes.
Yeah, we went through some of this on a Patreon episode. It was a very long email with a bunch of stuff about the arrival of the moon. Maybe that was you. I'm not sure it's that recent, but maybe it could be. I don't know.
Well, then what caused the blobs if it wasn't the moon?
Yeah. Yeah. And
There
I mean,
are-
I don't know. And then there's evidence of like tidal pools that goes back pretty far. I'm not sure. You need a moon to do that. Maybe it's a different moon. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's been there for a long time.
Yeah. There are some interesting
She's telling me she's cold.
What are you what was that?
She's telling me she's cold.
Sorry, it's cold in here. I thought maybe he'd just push it.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, the moon.
Sorry.
I mean, look,
I'm getting distracted.
it could be
Sorry, I was trying to be sly.
that young, but yeah, I tend to think it's much older than that.
Yeah, I do as well.
Now the spaceship idea, the way I look at it is, it's kind of like, it doesn't have to be the entire thing constructed by, an intelligent or a civilization. I'm just talking about like building an ark there or something like that.
Yeah.
A bunker. But it's fun to call it a spaceship because if it's got people on it, it's traveling through space. Hey,
Well, it's
that's why I say Earth is also a spaceship.
yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So you know,
But it's I think part of it is that it seems to have been placed. You know, it's in a position where it doesn't look
yeah, it
accidental,
shouldn't be. Yeah,
and it is rotationally locked to its orbit around the Earth, which some people call tidally locked, I guess is another term for it. But it isn't clear that it's actually tidal locking. It I don't know. It's very strange. It looks parked as opposed to in a random orbit.
like a glove.
Yeah, it's definitely parked like a glove. That doesn't mean that the whole thing is a construct, because it is technically feasible to move extremely large objects. You know.
Hi, Ann. Thanks for being here with us.
Oh man,
Mustard or
Johnathan
ketchup?
Bracken.
Mustard or
$10,
ketchup?
mustard or ketchup?
On what?
Golly, no! If you just had to pick one, I'd have to go with mustard.
I agree. I would pick mustard as well.
I'd go with
Yeah.
mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can eat fries with mustard. You can put mustard on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Runs with Scissors says most moons are locked. Is that true? I thought most of them weren't locked.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And I
And
didn't
like,
know.
for example, Mercury was thought to be, it was going to be tidally locked to the sun, and it isn't. It rotates.
Whoa.
Peter!
Peter, 108.
Chef.
The moon is a love shack, baby.
Yeah. Good to
Thanks-
see you,
Thank
Peter.
you, Peter.
And Chris Cottrell's in here. Hey, buddy.
Howdy, howdy.
Wow, guys. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be here hanging out with the Snake Force.
They tricked us into talking about the moon. All right, let's go.
Okay.
What else we got? Thank you for the donations again.
And I say no to 2x speed. No. Okay.
If you really got to catch up.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
so.
cool with it. I
Sim-
mean, mustard.
Okay, simulation continued. This is from August still. This is from Andrew. Hi, bros. All the stuff generated from the trip is incredible. You guys are really doing something special here, and it's so great to get to learn vicariously through your experience. I was listening to the emails in the Mysteries of the Maya episode, and simulation theory came up, and I'm just curious if you guys have run across Donald Hoffman or Michael Levin's research. Both are doing some really interesting stuff, and I think it rings true on many levels. Anyways, keep up the incredible work. And sending all the warm and fuzzies my cold reptilian heart can muster. Snakes!
Mustard again. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
We are getting Luke Caverns back on the show next week, so maybe we can ask him.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
have not heard of those authors.
Could you say the two names again for me, please?
Donald Hoffman and Michael Levin. I think these guys are simulation theory people, not Maya stuff.
Okay.
Oh, he was listening to emails in the Mysteries of the
Yeah.
Maya. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the simulation theory is interesting, but it's it's only to us. It's only interesting so far, and then eventually you get to a point you're like, okay, who cares? We're still here. There's still some kind of system.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out instead of going, well, it's a simulation.
Yeah. And you got to live in it. Like, you have to still be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still got to build rockets.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the rules?
By the way, is okay. So this is now coming up in the chat. Somebody in the Discord asked me if Luke was going to tell us his real name.
No,
He's not going to do that.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's never going to do that.
I think I know it. It's not anything like spectacular. You're not missing anything. I think it's just kind of like a
Johnson.
it's just something. It's something.
I told him
bland.
his real name. I told him his real name was Dave Caves.
That's a good one.
Okay, let's see. Anything else about the simulation?
I mean, it's the same thing we've always said.
Yeah. It's intriguing at first, and then you realize, like, it doesn't matter. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
Okay.
It's like
I
it's
would
weird
say
and it's what it is.
it's just it's a technological way of describing pretty much like what the Christian tradition talks about as well. Like, there's this other higher level of existence that you can go to. Right now, you're sort of plugged into this one, and
Yeah.
it's just a trial.
yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just in terms of like, does it really matter to like what we have to do while we're here? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it's break
I
time.
agree.
Oh. Okay, man, made it through 2 emails.
Are y'all coked up, or do you got the Rona? They're definitely coked up.
I got tea.
Yeah, I'm drinking tea and I'm on Mucinex D, so I might be a little like.
I think he's
Heavy.
talking about you got stuffed noses.
Oh,
You've been
yeah,
doing
yeah.
coke or what?
Oh no,
I could not. There's no way.
I know
could
there's
get
no
it
way.
up there.
It wouldn't go up there.
So let's see what's playing on the old stereo system. Oh. Nice.
You gonna throw that logo up there so I can blow my nose?
Yeah.
I remember the summertime.
Forgot to take those vocals out. All right. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers of the Servant podcast. Doing the emails, talking to the chat. For those of you in the future, this is live. And so we've got a bunch of people in here trolling us, which is great.
Yeah, we have a whole chat trolling us, and they are definitely trolling us for sure.
And there's no intro for this show because no one pointed at me when we started.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
So, welcome.
Still working out the kinks. 0 mistakes.
Yeah, we don't make any mistakes. It's
It was better than last time. That's all I got to say.
which there were no mistakes last time either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 0
It's
mistakes.
like on a wave. Like, it's good and then it's better and then it's good.
All right, this is from, let's see, this is Saint Bomber. Emerging from the vault. Dearest Snicks, I was recently handed an article from the Smithsonian's website. While the article has all the threads of uniformitarianism woven into its jaunty, trim uniform, it tangentially brings up the idea of favorable grain mutations 10,500 years ago being the spark that kicks off the agricultural revolution. This gave me a catastrophic idea. What if, rather than the random butt flap discovery of grain mutation, the mutated grains came from humans emerging from nearby varas like Darren Kuyu? After living underground for who knows how long to escape the after effects of something akin to the Younger Dryas impact event, they emerge like vault dwellers to find that the grain stores Ahura Mazda instructed them to gather no longer resemble the surrounding ones. Could the agricultural revolution have been caused by a Paleolithic breakaway civilization emerging from their caves? Or am I just caught in the 60 to 70 range of your podcast and projecting? Maybe you can figure it out. All the best, Saint Bomber. P.S. Isn't it funny how so many of these alternate scientific theories we're investigating now almost show up in JRPGs from the 90s? Maybe you can learn something from playing video games. Ha! Yes, you're right. They do. A lot of these ideas show up in video games and not just JRPGs, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea that perhaps it doesn't have to be, that a breakaway civilization goes underground and survives and comes back, but that somebody made a time capsule, perhaps storing grain from a previous era. Now, again, this doesn't explain. This is just kicking the can down the road as to the invention of agriculture and domestication of species. But if somebody made a giant grain silo and then it was preserved through a cataclysm and later people found it and spread the grain around, then it would appear that like suddenly this grain that was no longer in existence just pops up out of nowhere in the archaeological record. So I think that's yeah. And in Turkey, there are like he's saying, there's thousands of caves in the ground, or I don't know what to call them. Not necessarily
like a cave system, like dwellings.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Darren QU. There's not thousands of those, but I mean, there's a lot of tunnels underground and a lot of caves.
Yeah, all artificial, or at least they are now. Like they could have been, maybe they started out as caves, but somebody widened them, flattened the walls, the floors, the ceilings.
So who knows what they might have found?
Yeah.
When you go to Darren QU, they've been. Is that what you're saying? They've been like flattened in there.
The ones he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
He was talking about the
Darren
bars.
QU. Yeah, it's totally artificial though. I mean, it's got rooms and tunnels and hallways and stairs. It's not a cave. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. You know what that made me think? When you went to the Devil's River with the guys and you guys went in the cave,
right?
Didn't you come back with like a little bit of corn or like a little something?
Yes.
We should try to grow some.
They're like the tiny corn maze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that was at Mesa Verde too.
Yeah.
The Chaco culture grew those little bitty corn.
Yeah, we should
things.
try to grow some.
Yeah.
Do some experiments on it.
I don't know if any of the seeds are on it, but maybe.
Oh.
It's like the little cob.
We need to pull it out and check it out.
But yeah, it's a good idea, I think. Could explain some anomalous, just like sudden appearances of these grains that are very different.
Yeah.
Oilfield trash 12. $10. Want to clean up the oceans. All right. Want to talk to y'all about heavy lifting someday. Work lifting multi-ton objects all the time. Talk about what we can do now and what that takes and what they did in ancient times. Snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. We've done a little bit, but not, we don't do it all day. I've just picked up some rocks and stuff with some big machines. But
Yeah. Old Snake Stash has done it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be a good conversation to I know people in the oil field, they move enormous heavy loads and they're familiar with all the time and preparation and work that it takes. So yeah, it could be a good conversation.
Yep.
I've seen you in the Discord and on the Patreon too. So yeah, maybe we can talk about it someday and we can schedule something, buddy. Thank you.
So people were asking, or somebody asked, I can't remember who, about a link to that jam. And
I think it was green tea.
So a lot of the stuff that we play on the show is in the $50 Dynasty Patreon. So you can get that. I mean, I have some instrumentals up there, and then also some of these other songs that are not on the Procession album, which is available to the public. There's a bunch of other songs in there that you can get through the Patreon. You can download them, and they will be coming out at some point. We'll publish them, but they're not done yet. But thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. This is from Adam. It's titled "Nearly Fell Off the Treadmill Laughing." Clearly, after waiting about 33 minutes to start my workout. I've been trying to avoid sending questions because I haven't listened to all the sods yet. See, this is a respectful person.
Good job. Good job, Adam.
I'm just joking. However, the comments on the eclectic erection universe hypothesis in episode 217 nearly caused me to trip on the treadmill from laughing so hard. The constant trolling on this topic has been a favorite of mine.
The hell are you talking about?
I'm not sure what is going on here. Okay, so I think I'm down to 30-ish episodes remaining from late 2021 to mid 2022 since I've been eating this snake from both ends, and it's been a delightful ride. 10 random thoughts inspired by various episodes in no particular order. 2. Brakes don't work in dreams. I don't know why everyone is so focused on cell phones. My much larger concern is how poor the brakes on vehicles are in my dreams. 3. He doesn't start with 1. This is what's great about this. He says 10 random thoughts and he starts at 2.
Yes.
Yeah. 3. Everyone should find their tribe, but please don't let it be a sock tribe. 4.
Heard that.
I really want to try to grow bananas in Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure I can take the mocking sure to come from my wife. She still enjoys pointing out the lack of success I've had growing avocados. 5. I feel like we need a map of the best anaerobic bogs near major population areas so everyone knows the closest spot to go to make their awesome fossil faces when the comet arrives. Yeah. 6. I am working on a theory of gravity, but I'm struggling to find existing failed theories to confirm this isn't already proven wrong. Everybody wants to call the equation a theory, and that is hugely frustrating. More on this in the future unless something shiny distracts me and I stop working on it. 7. Have you considered putting your seedlings in the wine warehouse when the vats are outgassing all this CO2? Maybe the wrong time of year, but it seems like a great spot to start some banana trees.
We
That's a
definitely
good
thought about
idea.
We
that.
have talked
Yes.
about it, yes. Like, how can we use all this CO2?
Yeah.
Because it makes an enormous amount. 8. Dreams feel like I'm an NPC in someone else's game. Maybe what we think of as aliens or ghosts are folks that live in the world of our dreams that are lucid dreaming in our world. They're just supposed to be NPCs, but they've discovered they're asleep and choosing to screw with things. If I ever lucid dream, I'm going to seriously screw with somebody's game. 9. If you haven't read Greg Egan, you should give his sci-fi a try. When someone says hard sci-fi, I think of him standing alone above all the well-known names. Okay, I'll look that guy up. Greg Egan. 10. I noticed a statue of Jack Daniel in a bar once. Might someone that finds it thousands of years from now assume he was our emperor? 11. Okay, he does have 10 points. He just goes to 11. I'm still... Oh, because he starts from 2.
Yeah, he started
I get
at
it.
2,
Okay,
bro.
I finally get the joke.
Yeah, I was going to say.
11. I'm still eating bacon. P.S. Snakes!
Me too, man. It's terrifying, but I eat it.
Great
what
email.
a great,
Thank
what a
you.
great email. Yeah, fantastic. We got
I just wanted to catch up with the watcher.
watchers
here.
posting stuff. Yeah.
I like what he says. Perhaps the moon is placed to absorb or deflect impacts. I like that.
Yeah, he was talking about the other moons, saying the watcher is saying that they're orbitally locked, but not tidally locked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, if it's
Classic
in an
moon.
orbit,
Yeah.
if it's in an orbit, it's in a stable orbit, so it's orbitally locked. But most of the moons, at least the ones that we have here in our solar, they're not tidally locked to their planets.
Yeah.
I think there might be a few, but most of them rotate at different rates than their orbits, so they're not locked. And Mercury, again, I was saying Mercury was a surprise. People were
They were thinking it had.
they were thinking the sun would, of course, tidally lock Mercury, right? It's so close, the gravity is so strong there, but no, Mercury spins faster than it orbits. I mean, it's not a very, it's not like the Earth where we spin 365 something times every time we orbit, but it doesn't always face one side to the sun. It rotates. It's not tidally locked. So the
what's
moon
that-
is actually anomalous. The Earth is not really big enough to tidally lock it.
Okay.
What's that one? There's this one really strange phenomenon where our closest approach to one of the inner planets. Maybe it's Mercury or Venus. Maybe it's Venus. It's always the same side of it is always pointed at us whenever we do that close approach.
That's right. Yes.
That is wild.
Right, which implies a kind of locking with that planet. Yes, you're right. Yeah, what was that in? Was that in? We read about that in the.
I can't remember.
Was it in the Velikovsky Heresies?
I feel like it was more recent than that.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, so 176 Earth days for one rotation on Mercury.
Right.
Watcher says. It's Venus. Thank you, Matthew Travis. Yeah. And he also says it's Velikovsky. Okay.
I thought we went through that in the Velikovsky Heresies by Laird Scranton.
Probably. Oh, okay. Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Weird stuff.
Yeah. The moon's a spaceship. I love this topic. Like, we got more emails here, but this topic about the moon, like, so it could be an enormous construct. And then, so the question is, well, why does it
accumulated all this?
Yeah, so
junk.
It could be an enormous construct that is so ancient that it has naturally accreted 3 miles of material on top of it. Or if you build an enormous construct like this and you also want to move it around in space at speed, then maybe you put a giant rock shield on it because, number one, rock is a great radiation shield.
Yeah.
And number two, it can absorb running into stuff like space dust or larger objects. It's a good, an ablative material.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's just moved into place and parked. Or it's a natural body, but it was moved into place and parked, and then they built structures on it.
Yeah, and they cored it out.
Yeah.
Like built tunnels all down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they could have hollowed it out. And then there was like, one of my, I can't remember if this was
And you
Hyman.
hollow it out in a specific way to where there are two modes on it so that that it becomes tidally locked.
Yes, right. You give it 2 centers of gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you give it 2 centers?
Well, you would hollow it out and leave like large chunks, two large unhollowed areas, sort of separated from each other in there. So that
there's, instead of being 1 center of gravity in a basically homogeneous object, you have the weights offset, so it's got 2
looks
places.
like a dumbbell. So so the planet grabs
Okay.
both ends. And holds it in position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of mass, it would look like a dumbbell.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember it. I can't remember if it was one of my
rings like a dumbbell.
Rings like a dumbbell. One of my favorite, old school science fiction authors talked about, the possibility of like making space bubbles out of existing material in space. So you find a nickel iron asteroid, and you get it into position. You kind of clean off whatever. You don't have to do this, but that you sort of clean it off so it's basically metal. You heat it up with a laser or maybe a big lens that just focuses sunlight on it until basically the whole thing becomes a molten bubble. Right? Oh, well, okay. The first thing you need to do is you drill into it and you put a bunch of giant bags of water in there, right? And then you seal it off. Then you melt the whole thing, and then the bags of water turn into steam, and it inflates it into a big sphere of a shell.
Who had this idea?
I think it was Heinlein talked about this. Yeah. It could have been somebody else. Heinlein, Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke. It was one of those guys, one of the old greats. So then you have a big metal hollow ball, and then you can build whatever you want inside of it. Coat the outside with rock, and you have a space station.
That's pretty cool.
Genius.
Yeah.
Watcher says that every 1.5 years, Venus is exactly between Earth and the Sun, i.e. closest to Earth. It faces Earth always with the same side on these occasions. That's very strange.
Yeah, by the way, Watcher is here. Should we bring him on and have him say hi? We didn't do that,
bro.
Let it rip.
From deep beneath his secret
totally
space
forgot to
station.
do that. How dare I.
Watcher, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for letting me say hi.
Are you also watching the YouTube chat?
I was, but there was a slight delay, and it was freaking me out. And then Kyle pointed out all I have to do is mute it, which is a very simple answer that I'm really sad I didn't get to on my own.
You can actually pause the video, but still watch the chat. You don't have to have the video playing. Yeah.
Oh, that would also work. things I should have been able to figure out on my own, but that's why I have you guys.
Hey, while he's on, can I tell him something? Brett?
No.
Yes.
I ended up at the soccer field the other day in a conversation with someone, and they asked, we got on the topic of the podcast, and he was like, "Hey, have you guys ever heard about the electric universe?"
Did you
So
ask
it
him?
totally happened to me at the soccer field, and I'm not.
You're not
used
good at
to it.
trolling?
No, I'm not. So I was just like, yeah, we have. But I'm just going to tell you that it's kind of an inside joke that, like, and I tried to gently
Crushed
break
his dreams.
Oh no.
Like, I've never heard of that. What is
That's
that?
what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
It was my first time.
But then it opens you up to then having to hear the entire theory explained
and I didn't have
with
time
a
for that.
lot of
I didn't
energy.
have time for that. It was my first time. I'll get better at it.
That's awesome, though. Love it.
Well, glad you could be here, Watcher.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always
Appreciate
good
it.
to have you here.
Sorry to all those Watcher lovers out there that I did not introduce him in the beginning of the show. How dare I?
Yeah.
Kyle's sick and grumpy and has a bad attitude.
It would
but he's
actually
still
be
funny.
cool.
Yeah, bro, I'm muting you. Now.
It would actually be cool
No,
on
I'm
these
just kidding.
lives. We could get OBS to pick up his screen and we could just put it in there so people can see the stuff the Watcher's saying too. That would be fun. But watch
That's
it. You'd have to
dangerous.
keep it.
Ooh, gotta keep it clean.
Yeah, I can keep it clean.
Okay, yeah.
And to those Watcher lovers, all 12 of you, I appreciate the support as always.
Some of them are like
You guys are
rabid Watcher lovers, bro. I mean, yeah.
They're all awesome.
Thanks for being here, Watcher.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's snakes and lucidity. Thomas, this is from Tom the Traveler, T-Mac in the Discord. Hey, Snake Bros, you're going to love this. I experienced my first lucid dream this week, I think, and I want to give you the credit for fully realizing it. The details of the dream don't matter, thankfully, as I can't remember them anyway, but what I do remember is for the first time in my mid-40s, life questioning within my dream whether I was dreaming or not. As the dream continued, I asked myself no less than 3 times whether or not I was dreaming. And I was finally convinced that I was, in fact, not dreaming, given that I was listening to, specifically, your podcast. Almost immediately, I then woke up on my couch, headphones in, and 2 episodes on from where I had begun that night. He's like, am I dreaming? No, I can't be dreaming. I'm listening to Snake Bros. Such an awesome experience, but totally confusing as well. I've long wanted to experience lucid dreaming as I understood it. That is, realizing I was dreaming and making decisions within the dream. Instead, my lucidity led me to the conclusion that I was awake and therefore allowing the dream to continue controlling me. But it was still badass. So, thanks, Tom the Traveler. P.S. Snakes!
You're still dreaming, bro.
You're
You
actually
need to wake up.
still dreaming. Yeah, so he, in the dream, got it wrong. He asked himself
yeah.
the question, and then he was like, no, I'm awake. I'm totally not dreaming. And so he doesn't become lucid. But that's the thing is at least...
Classic.
Yeah.
That's the only chance you got. You blew it.
You blew it.
It's over for you.
Wrong answer. I have had this question come up in my dream a couple of times, and every time you sort of get excited. That's what and then I wake up. So like you have to learn to control that, because it can just jolt you right out of the dream. The realization.
It's never gonna happen to Laura then.
What?
Lucid dreaming.
Oh,
You get excited.
You get excited. Yeah, you get real excited about
Well,
stuff.
I think
She's gonna be like, and then
oh,
wake
guys,
up.
I realized it. Bam, wake up.
Wait, are we talking about when you feel like you can't move?
No,
but
and
you're-
you know that you're dreaming, and then you can do whatever you want in your dreams.
You actually can
I think I've kind of had something like that. I do know that I've specifically thought about something or like someone before going to sleep, and then like I had a dream about like that thing or that.
But while you're in the dream, you recognize like this is a dream, and after that, you can do whatever you want. You can think normally.
You stop being an NPC in somebody else's story, and you become like your full self, your lucid self again.
I'm gonna have to investigate that. I'm
You're
not
gonna
sure.
get too excited
I
and
guess
blow
I
it.
thought maybe that had happened to me before, but maybe not. So I'll have to think about that.
The same thing happens with
What would I get excited about?
because
fact
you're
that-
achieving lucidity in your dream. It's like exciting, and you're like
Okay.
Suddenly can just do whatever you
you
want.
can make the dream do anything.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Yeah. The same thing happens with out of body experiences.
The super chat's not working. What do you got, Bruce? What do you want to say?
Super chat's not working
He
for Bruce.
says it fails.
Bruce.
It just spins.
He didn't know if he was gonna make it, but he made it.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
Cheers, Bruce.
Tell Deb
Cheers,
I
buddy.
said, "Hey, girl."
Okay. Let's see. This is from our snake brother in Georgia, Jess. Snakes on snakes on snakes is what it's called. Good Lord, you guys are friggin' awesome. I have been listening to you guys for a couple of months now. I found y'all through what seems to be the yellow brick road of Rogan to Graham to Randall to Ben to the snake pit. And I couldn't be happier. I run light equipment while maintaining retention ponds for my county and paint miniatures for games I rarely play. Honestly, I bet he's painting Warhammer miniatures. Are you painting Warhammer miniatures, bro? Honestly, I just like building awesome-looking warriors and painting them, LOL. And while doing that, I listen to podcasts. And I've always been a huge Ancient Aliens fan, not because I necessarily believe in the theory, but I love the places they've shown and the alternative ideas, which I've heard y'all say close to the same thing.
Yep.
I listen to y'all so much, my grandson walks around and just randomly saying, "Snakes!"
Oh.
When we tuck him in at night, part of the process is us saying "snakes" to each other.
Oh my gosh, I love
As
that.
I wrap his stuffy rattlesnake and boa around him to protect him at night. It's so frigging adorable. I'm on episode 133 now, and I 100% believe in the Giza power plant idea, and that was long before hearing you guys, as I've been following these authors for years.
Oh, okay.
And yes, all your impersonations are spot on, and I'm constantly laughing. The one of Graham trying to reach for the curtain in Ethiopia and the whole story through your eyes brought tears to my eyes. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost drove a skid steer into a pond. I was laughing so hard.
yeah.
I am not joking. Anyways, I'll wrap this up or I will continue to ramble on and on and on. So keep up the great work and know y'all are a bright spot and every day for me. Y'all snake brother in Georgia, Jess. P.S. Me and my wife are spending 10 days in Egypt come January, and she has already informed me I am not allowed to argue with the guides, but let's not kid ourselves. I will.
Dude.
PSS, are 1-Up boxes still a thing on the show? If so, send me an address. I'd like to contribute to the 10 by 10 by 10 cube. Oh man, I need to send
Thank
this guy
you
an
for
address.
that email.
Yeah, what a great email.
That's awesome.
We'll look
dude.
forward to seeing something in the mail from you. I check that P.O. box, and I love when we get stuff. And for your grandson, I don't know how old he is, but keep a lookout for Snake Bros Kids content also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and clearly I've failed here. This was sent in September. Then he was asking for... I wanted to read it on the show, but he's also asking for an address.
Oh, so he already went to Egypt.
January.
Oh, no, this is this past September.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ooh,
Rookie
rookie
move.
move. Hate to see it happen. That's okay. All right, so I will... Yes, Jess, I will... I'll respond to this soon and send you the address.
Love
Also,
that
if you're...
email.
If the easiest way to get the address really is in the Discord. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. What else was there? Something else in there I wanted to respond to? Okay. Oh, we do have 1-Up boxes we have to do today as well, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to forget that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from another Alex, Dead Goat, in the Discord, called Little Folk Experience. Dear Russ and Kyle, currently listening to the Little People Part 2, and your discussion with Drew sparked an experience I had very recently. The discussion was about the possibility of the Little People phenomenon being real and either being anthropomorphized or even manifesting as what we would see as similar to a human or small being. I have been recently attending sauna, ice bath, yoga, and breathwork sessions. A total newbie to this kind of thing, and it's made quite an impact on my mental state for the better. During my last visit, about 15 minutes into a breathwork session, my senses started drifting. I'm accustomed to dizzy spells, and this was very similar, although laying down I wasn't concerned, so I continued on. My hearing faded into a high-pitched ringing and white noise, while my vision, although my eyes were shut, went that white, purpley, black glowing sensation. Like if you push down on your eyelids, it's very similar. I then saw the shape of different faces that would come and go, all different people, sort of claymation-type faces, extremely detailed and fine but lumpy, like made of clay. The faces would morph and change, but still look like they were from the same family or race of people, or maybe the same artist has drawn them, similar to the puppets in that David Bowie film, The Labyrinth. Although I couldn't see the rest of these people's bodies, just faces, they carried the likeness of a fantasy film genre dwarves or little people, and maybe my mind has been influenced by films and pop culture, or maybe, just maybe, these people are inherent inside our minds, and too in the nature as the phenomenon. These images didn't do a whole lot, just changed form and came and went, but this discussion made me think. Maybe these folk or images are so ingrained in nature they come to us in times of sensory deprivation, drug use, mental episodes diagnosed as schizophrenia. Just like the mycelium in soul, maybe these folk are interwoven in the fabric of our conscious and unconscious dimensions. Thanks again, Alex. Is this kind of similar? This sort of reminds me of the entoptic pattern thing, right? Like when you do something like DMT or ayahuasca, you begin to see all these geometric patterns, and one of the explanations is like those are entoptic. They're built into the fabric of your optic nerves, and that's why you see them. So is that what he's saying, that these little people are sort of ingrained into our like mental culture, and so you begin to see them when you have any kind of
I think that's what he's trying to say.
yeah.
I thought during that, what if just because we know that these things exist already and you read about it or you hear somebody tell you about it, it's described to you, and so then you have like a mental image going of what that is. So what if when you're in these states, your brain is maybe just subconsciously searching for something to picture and think about that you're curious about anyway? Maybe you're just kind of it's being sparked because it's like, oh yeah, I'm tripping, I'm supposed to be looking for like the dwarf dude,
Yeah, the watcher is saying too, like maybe they are omnipresent but on a different frequency, and some are more attuned to it, like on the other side of a veil. So that's what I'm saying. Is that what he's talking about in this email? Or is he saying that this is like psychological? Or is he saying that getting into these states allows you to encounter something that's always here? I'm not sure.
The thing you're saying about the optic nerve, I had never heard that before. That's my first time hearing.
Yeah, that's one of the...
we have leprechaun-shaped patterns in our optic nerve.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
everyone knows
I
that.
think he's saying we have leprechaun-shaped patterns in our fictional culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of saying that too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That makes it a psychological thing rather than a paranormal one.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. But what the watcher is suggesting is more paranormal. Like they are a real thing. We just can't see them unless we're in these altered states. That's another explanation for the geometric patterns as well. Like who has done all this research to show like, yes, these geometries that you see that are constantly moving and shifting when you're on DMT are definitely embedded in your optic nerve.
Yeah.
That's just something they say, right? It's the materialist assumption that the source must be local. In other words, it's somehow it's in your head, it's part of your brain, it's part of your nervous system, whatever.
And that's why it's part of your imagination.
But the non-local explanation is basically saying that this is something that you're experiencing because you're in an altered state. It isn't part of you. It's not coming from you.
Yeah, I see the difference.
Yeah.
But nobody knows which one it is.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like if it was local, that you could change it. In other words, like in the same way that you could sort of lucid dream, you could change the visuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they're not real, or if there's some, because why would the patterns be different from like one trip to the next? Because they are.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's not something that's built physically into your optic nerve. If it was local, though, it's like I should be able to just change this. But one time it's all snakes.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, it's just
maybe
like
one
everything
time you
is
just
snakes.
got a bad batch.
Oh, the snakes were beautiful. And another time it's like leprechauns and mushrooms and stuff. It's like, why? I don't know. It's just weird. Not sure.
We got a super chat up there.
Oh.
Apparently, the super chat is working. At least
Yeah.
now it is. Truth Seeker, $10. Is there a plan to have Heather Shy back on?
Yes.
I was never into the Akashic Records at all, but I found her inspiring.
Yes.
Also, any book reports coming up? Thanks for the great content. You guys rock. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All of that is yes.
Yes.
Oh, we missed that one too. Jonathan Frost, $50. Man, thank you.
Wow.
Thanks for tackling so many intriguing questions. Hope to see more live chats with guests. Keep up the good work. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
I love doing the live with that one with Marty. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
get more guests on and do that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go live with Luke. That'd be
Yes.
sweet.
Yes.
Sam Fibro Fox, £3. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, we got that.
And yeah, back to Oilfield, yeah. And yeah, it would be cool to talk to that guy about moving heavy loads, you know.
So did you
time.
get the Heather Shy Patreon sods?
Yes, so that's one answer to the question is I would like to have her back on to continue the discussion. She also sent us several audio files that she recorded. And it's kind of I haven't listened to them yet. This is why I haven't posted them. I want to listen to them. She said, listen to these and see if they're good. And if you like them, put them on your Patreon feed, where she basically is sort of taking people through a guided, basic cleansing, sort of prep or whatever.
That's cool.
It's not specific because what she does for people is very specific, and it ties exactly to whatever their problem is or whatever they are asking her for help with. But what she sent us is sort of the prep work, and she's saying, like, I just sat down and did the guided, meditation for them. So like she said if we think it's good, we should post it to our Patreon. So I am going to do that once I listen to them, because she asked us to listen to them first. But it's not really something that would go in the main podcast feed, but we can put them on the Patreon and then maybe share them elsewhere later. But yes, I'd like to get her back on to continue the conversation. And then yes, we are going to have book reports coming up as well. Yeah. I know lots of people want,
book reports are good, dude.
lots of people want us to do, Hamlet's Mill, and I have that book and I've been reading it and I'm just like, man, how am I going to do this on the show? What are you laughing at?
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. I was trying to think, like, I can't do this. I can't do Hamlet's Mill like we've done book reports where I read huge chunks. It's so dense, but maybe I can do kind of a condensed version where I can read specific sections that we can discuss, and then we can kind of, I don't know, but it's like, it doesn't seem like it's going to be good show content. It's so dense, but I don't know.
Well, we'll just do something else.
Yeah. We just never do it and just always talk about doing it.
Yes.
That sounds easier.
So there's a comment here from Olo Smooth Olo. Or Old Zero Smooth Old Zero. I'm not sure.
Old Zero Smooth Old Zero.
He says, remember the episodes you guys did about all the Skirptard tricks?
Yes.
You remember that? I don't remember that.
Yes, Skirptard Skirp Derp is what that one's called. Yeah.
Here's all the tricks they use.
Yes.
Did you miss that the yellow one that you
Yeah.
just? Oh. Did you say that already?
All right, Mike check, $10. Says thank you. Thanks so much, Mike.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, look, Matt's in the chat. The Heather Shy one is a weird one. Yeah, bro, you're right. It was weird.
I love Heather. Hey, girl.
Yeah, people are saying there's super chat problems. So
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
Well,
that's weird.
we'll do our best just to keep up with the chat.
Yeah,
We're out of time.
you don't have to super chat for us to read your question either. Like, we're trying to pay attention to it. So, but we do appreciate all the donations for sure. Okay.
Are you guys
We're
hearing
gonna
me
take
about
a
this?
break.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's break time.
All right, fine. Let's see what's playing on the old jam set.
Turn the radio on.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Is this second half? I guess it is second half.
I
of the
believe
show.
so.
Yeah. Brothers of the Serpent podcast, reading emails, responding to the chat, questions. Okay, let's see what we got with the emails here. This is from Josh. Greetings and slithery salutations. Hey, bros, reaching out from Eastern North Carolina, where I provide a small slice of monthly cash for your continued adventures and excursions. I'm writing because I was listening to the listener communication episode from earlier this year, episode 280, and when y'all played Gone from Procession, it jogged a memory of a song I had heard in 2021. Kyle, I know how weird it is to suggest an artist to an artist, but Sons of the Sea have a song called Where the Songs Come From, and it rides the same vibe as Gone. Both are
Cool,
incredible
check it
songs. That's it. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to share a great music with a great couple of dudes who also make a great podcast. Thank y'all, from Josh.
What was the name of the song?
Where the Songs Come From, which is like a
Where all the
weirdly
songs come
where
from.
the stories lie, right?
Yeah.
And he says, P.S. quietly.
Oh, is Brandon Boyd? Is that he's the guy from Incubus, right?
It says Sons of the Sea have a song called Where the Songs
yeah,
Come
it is
From.
Sons of the Sea. It
Yeah.
says Brandon Boyd.
Ah,
Yeah, that's Brandon Boyd.
cool.
All right, I'll check it out.
And he says, P.S. quietly, snakes.
I wonder if he did. Maybe he did a solo album. I'll check it out, dude. Thanks.
Snakes.
Appreciate it. Oh, we got some super chats rolling in.
Yeah, so some people are saying super chats aren't working, but other
Well,
people are.
somebody helped somebody find it.
Oh.
Saw that.
Okay, Coleman O'Brien, $43.20.
Hey.
Wow, thank you. Trying to catch up on older podcasts on Google Podcasts, but they are missing a few here and there, and missing a block of 10 episodes. Unacceptable.
Wow, that's weird.
Just wondering where is the best place to get all podcasts, besides episode 1, obviously.
So if you're using a podcast app on a mobile device, if you have an iPhone, Overcast is pretty good. That's what Kyle uses, I think.
I use Overcast as well.
Yeah. If you have an Android, I use Podcast Addict. It's a little clunky, but the user interface is weird. But once you figure it out, I mean, you can get any podcast, and they'll have all the episodes. That's what I use. Other than that, Apple Podcasts. If you just look up Brothers of the Serpent you'll find it on Apple Podcasts. It has all the episodes. Our website, brothersoftheserpent.com, has every episode. They're all on YouTube. Spotify has all of them. There shouldn't be anything missing. Okay. This is something that I have been... it has recently come to my attention that this is happening, and it doesn't seem to happen to many people, but some people seem to subscribe to...
Like an aggregator, or like aggregate feed, or
yes,
something like that.
it's I can't remember what their name is. This guy asked me a long time ago. This must be years ago now. He was like, "Can I rebroadcast some of your shows on my internet radio station?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." You know, but he seems to have turned that into a feed. And he posts most of our episodes, but not all of them. And some people subscribe. I checked how many people were subscribed to it. It's not very many, so it's not that big of a deal. But you may be subscribed to the wrong feed. That could be why you're missing episodes.
There's 10 episodes that he doesn't like.
Yeah. Could be that. I can't remember what it was called, but yes. So just make sure it's the actual Brothers of the Serpent feed.
Maybe he didn't like the Charles Hapgood book.
Right.
And it's probably, he put the first one in there. He's a wonder. That's interesting that that's happening. Complaint.
I know. I have debated with myself, like, do I contact this dude and be like, bro, you can't just post our episodes in a feed and call it, whatever the radio show's name, Brothers of the Serpent, because people get confused. They sign up to that feed and they never, and then they're
Let's just
contacting
tell
me
him now,
like,
bro, you can't just post our episodes in a feed. That's messed up.
I thought Russ already told him yes, though. That's how it
To
started.
internet radio.
Yeah,
Oh,
internet
okay.
radio,
All
which
right.
is not the same as setting up an RSS feed that also just hosts all of our shows.
Yeah, bro, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the
right.
same.
Yeah.
All right, Shermanator Osborne, $2. He says, found it.
Snacks!
Sweet.
Thanks,
buddy.
Terminator.
We appreciate that. JL says, Gone is the best song on the album.
All right.
Hey, cool, man.
But I think
Appreciate
I'm
that.
with Troy.
Troy wants to fight.
Yeah, I think I'm with Troy on this one.
What? I got a copyright strike? Troy says
Because you
Solus
played
is
part
best.
of you played part of the song on the show. Yeah. YouTube is gonna be like, nope.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to play my own music.
Whoa.
They're gonna have a fight.
Look at this.
Oh wait,
donation.
I got a copyright strike because I played some of that Brandon
Yeah.
Boyd song. It's fair use. It was only a few seconds.
Looky here.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Lee.
Lee.
Chat is lagging. Merry Christmas.
$99.99.
No gifts
Bunch
from
of-
me anymore.
Bunch of upside down sixes.
Thank you so much.
No gifts from me anymore.
Thank you.
Chat's not lagging. We put a lag on it. It's on purpose. You got to slow these people down. Okay. We caught up there.
Yep.
That feed is called the Brothers of the Skirpin.
The Brothers of the Skirpint. Yep, it's just like watching the Discord in there. Okay.
Oh, Troy, I hear you. Scotty agrees with us. Damn right.
Okay.
What does he know?
What, Scotty?
What's up, Scotty?
Okay. Turn it up, Scotty. This is it's not a book, but it might be a short story. Okay. So this is from Blue Dog. Pimpanzee's dot-to-dot coloring book. Okay. It says, Dear Snake Bros, Blue Dog from the Discord here, and I started at the beginning with my last email, so I'll dispense with the intros and get to the meat of it right away. This might become a book, but no apologies needed. You'll thank me later. Thank you for reading my first email on episode 295 after a busy harvest layoff. I did happen to catch it live, which was awesome. I wasn't up to that one yet, but Discord was buzzing about a new sode, so I had to check it out. So much has happened since writing that first email in terms of brain expansion and also funny nuances about the show that I wasn't up to speed with, like the way the emails get initially read and drafted, for example. Makes me even more elated my first one was chosen. The format change to the show was interesting. As a longtime listener, change was probably always going to ruffle a few feathers, but I need to admit something. When I first started listening, I was picking and choosing based off the topic headline before I had my butt flap on the right way around. And I was a little confused about what was going on because for a good portion of the start, it had nothing to do with said topic. So I can fully appreciate the format change for new listeners. But once I understood what was going on, I really enjoyed the casual lead up to the main topic. Okay, books. This is of particular
Your
importance.
complaint will be filed with the rest.
This is of particular importance. I didn't know back when that long emails were labeled as such. Guilty as charged. They also come with a small snort of derision and probably an eye roll, so allow me to help you rethink this. At the risk of upsetting Russ in the morning, who isn't jovial, it's all your own damn fault. I'll go, oh, this is victim blaming. Wow. I'll go out on a limb and say I speak for novelists everywhere when I say you put a fantastic podcast encompassing the full spectrum of curiosity, promising at least 30% brain expansion, 33% for us lucky ones, and expect that additional brain space to not include a shitload of observations, questions, and just musings that has to be communicated to you. Nonsense. So, from now on, consider every book a literary pat on the back, a congratulatory tome of another job well done. You've inspired someone to construct a well-thought-out, sometimes humorous account of the inner workings of the inside of an expanded skull, which should be celebrated. Time constraints in your working lives make books problematic. I fully understand, but they should be considered a badge of honor on your part. You're welcome. Speaking of which, I will get on with it. Since writing that first email about a chimpanzee wanting knowledge, I've had an almost complete mental breakdown listening to all the things we can never know about. As Ben put it, we'd need a time machine to really know what happened, and I was at my limit until a very innocuous comment from Kyle snapped me out of it and has given me peace ever since.
Wow.
It was during the Path of the Pole series, not sure which one, but after the book report for that particular episode, Kyle casually pondered about what Hapgood would think of the two bulges in the mantle if he were here today.
The blobs.
The blobs. That singular comment made me see the bigger picture, that our certificate of ignorance is real. There is so much we don't know, so much still undiscovered that maybe one day, if we keep asking questions, we might learn a little bit more. As Hapgood himself said, be curious. It seems with each sode, I can add a point to the great dot-to-dot coloring book that is this crazy world we live in, and if we're lucky, we might even join the dots to form a picture. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have crayons to sharpen and a certificate of ignorance to color in. Snakes! From Blue Dog.
Beautiful email. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. So
See, that was a book report. I mean, how many episodes was that? It was definitely a book. I should have separated it into chapters, and we could have done multiple episodes.
It was good.
Yeah, book reports are great.
Yeah.
You guys will notice I complain about getting books and emails, but I read plenty of them on the show.
Yeah.
I complain about it.
He secretly
That's,
it's a classic Snake Bros trope to
Yeah.
complain about something and then continue doing it.
Yeah, that's right. P.S. Thanks to your sods on the Feynman lectures, I'll never give directions the same again. Who knew that turning left could be so complicated? But also, thank you for allowing me to spot my antimatter counterpart. I love that part of that.
Yeah, that's great.
Do not shake hands with him if he raises the wrong hand.
I'm so glad we did that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And yeah, the goal is to learn something. Like, we're never going to figure it all out, but that's what makes every little piece of new knowledge so valuable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, new
exciting.
data. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better questions.
Yeah.
Narrows the focus.
Oh, Blue Dog's in there. He said,
Yeah, Blue Dog's in there for sure.
you're welcome, guys. We'll be fuzzies.
How dare you
Yeah.
write a book?
I'm
right.
deleting it right now.
I'm
It's taking
so-
up so much
I
memory on my
loved
phone.
it.
I'm
Go.
honored. All right. Let's see. Okay.
Somebody answered.
So we got oil
that.
field trash 12,
Somebody sent it to him.
$5. If I send y'all an email, can we exchange contact information? No. What is y'all's email? I'm just kidding. The email address is brothersoftheserpent@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Troy hooked
Yeah,
him
Troy
up.
got him.
Yeah, I know, but I'm answering it on.
Well, you messed it up. You didn't even say it right.
Yeah.
Brothersoftheserpent@gmail.com is the email
You know what?
address.
I'll just skip that super chat since somebody in the chat answered.
No, I wasn't meaning skip it.
All right, Barry Kotek, $5. Thank you for immortalizing my horrible emails. Sorry, Russ, but thank you, Kyle.
Wow.
You're welcome. And Russ forgives you.
Solace is getting a lot of attention, as it should.
Yeah, people are voting. That's the best song on the album. Whoa. I appreciate that, you guys. Keep fighting. Belief Hole Podcast, $10. Just found you guys from a Randall Carlson video. Loving your episodes and vibe. Keep up the killer work. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
the donation. Look at this podcast donating to podcast.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Gotta back each other up. Terry Jackson, $5. I read a book called Cataclysm, Compelling Evidence of a Cosmic Catastrophe in 9500 BC. I think it might be a great book report to do.
You take that one down, Laura. I have a list of books that are not Hamlet's Mill that I want to do. But I'm always glad to have another one on the list.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's interesting how the blobs keep
Hey,
coming
go
up.
back.
Oh. Okay. All right, moving on.
Yeah. And yeah, thanks Blue Dog. It was a great email. But no matter what you say or all the excuses you make about how this is like a big, great, compliment or whatever to the podcast when I get a book, when I'm grumpy in the morning, I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, look how long this is.
If you guys want instructions on email, just listen to episode 301. The song at the end just tells you
Yes.
how to do it.
The song has the instructions.
The Watcher also agrees that people should give Russ books.
Shut up, Watcher. No one wants to hear what you have to say.
He says you love long-winded, articulate soliloquies. That's why you're friends with the Watcher.
That's definitely a troll. You know why he's saying that? Because that's him.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
we know.
And he's like, listen, long story short, and I'm
short
like,
story
lies.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
off the
yeah.
bat.
But
you
you're
are lying.
still his friend.
Short story
You've
long.
been hanging
Yeah,
in
short
there
story
forever.
long is what the Watcher does.
So you must love him.
Okay, this is from Lauren the Man.
Hey.
Hey, girl. On Missing 411, I was listening to the Eastern U.S. episodes, and something jumped out. This is one of the book reports I want to do. I have all of the 411 stuff, and I want to do some more of those. I was listening to the Eastern U.S. episodes, and something jumped out at me. Bears' houses being entered, children seemingly being fed with berries or other food, and a large percentage of blonde children. When did Goldilocks and the Three Bears get written? I found this brief article on Wikipedia. Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a 19th century English fairy tale of which 3 versions exist. The original version of the tale tells of an impudent old woman who enters the forest home of 3 anthropomorphic bachelor bears while they are away. She eats some of their porridge, sits down on one of their chairs and breaks it, and sleeps in one of their beds. When the bears return and discover her, she wakes up, jumps out of the window, and is never seen again. The second version replaces the old woman with a young girl named Goldilocks, and the third and by far best-known version replaces the bachelor trio with a family of 3. Jumps out a window and is never seen again. Interesting. And who thought to substitute an old woman for a young girl, and why? Just an interesting thread. I'll pull on it when I have some time, but I thought you guys might enjoy the connection. Cheers, Snikes. Lauren the Man.
I had never heard this other version. This is the first one for me.
Yeah, I do remember that there are multiple. Yeah, it's interesting because it's initially 3 bachelor bear, like 3 male bears, right? But then they changed it to a family. You got the father bear, the mama bear, and the baby bear. And Goldilocks is trying to find this guy's stuff is too big or it's too hot, whatever.
Wait, so it was originally 3 bachelor bears and
an old woman.
Old
yeah,
woman?
and she gets busted using their stuff. She jumps out the window, runs off into the forest, and is like, it disappears forever. Never seen again.
And the change happened at the same time. It was like they swapped the bears and the old woman. The whole story just changed.
They swapped there's a, let's see, the second version replaces the old woman with a young girl named Goldilocks, and the third, and by far best known version, replaces the 3 bachelor bears with a family.
Okay, so it did happen in parts.
So he's pointing out, like, first you have the detail of this old woman who disappears without a trace. Then they put a young blonde girl into this story, and there is a preponderance of blonde children in a lot of the not necessarily all the disappearance cases that Politis goes through, but there are what does he call them, the areas where there's a cluster. Sometimes it's like people who look very similar, and like there's a whole section with just blonde kids,
okay,
or blonde people.
Okay,
so yeah, he's just pointing out, like, this is interesting.
it is interesting.
It's like the way the story was changed was just to make it last longer. It was to make it a little more relatable to children.
Yeah. Yep. I think that,
and that's how they end up learning the story and telling the story, and it becomes a little story time thing. And that's how the story actually carries on. If it was just 3 bachelor bears and an old lady, we wouldn't know about it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
So that's what I think is being done with all of the myths. I think the myths are changed and they're manipulated in such a way, or I don't know what the word is, but made art out of it, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're changed in this certain way to make it that sort of meme story that keeps going.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you're right. It is cool though. He's right that the connections that these stories have, like, you go into the forest, you disappear without a trace, and there's always the implication that there's something there hunting you, whatever it may be, if it's a witch or a you find some cabin. This is the thing. I think what triggered him on this is because, not triggered, but like made him think of this is, you get the stories of these kids are like, well, I stayed in this weird house in the freaking forest that no one knows there's out, and there were people in there and they fed me, and it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, what was the kid that they found in the briar bush or whatever? He was like, yeah, a bear fed me,
Yeah.
gave me milk.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's so weird.
I really think
Was the chair too big? Too hard?
Well, yeah. Is the porridge
Go
too
back up
hot?
just a little bit.
Too cold?
Just a little bit. Okay.
So we are getting some more suggestions. One from Peter Curtis. There's a book recommendation, The Physics of Angels by Rupert Sheldrake.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
Got that one on the list.
All right.
It's weird. I went through one of Sheldrake's books, and I love Sheldrake's work, but his book was boring. And I was like, this is cool stuff, but it's
Boring.
It was boring. I don't know
Well,
why.
You guys can spice it up. I
Yeah,
bet.
maybe we could.
Yeah, but Russ has to go through it and do the markups.
Yeah,
so-
I actually got the book because I was like, this would be cool to do a book report on, and I'm like, man, it's boring. It puts me to sleep every time I try to read it. So I don't know. But maybe he's not like that every time. I'm sorry, Sheldrake. Your work is awesome. Your book is boring, though. That one was.
The Physics of Angels. That sounds interesting. We got another super chat from Rex Strigo. $20 or $19.99 to be specific. Neuroscientist and musician Daniel J. Levitin, author of books like This
This is your brain.
This
on
is Your
music.
Brain on Music, would be an excellent guest to discuss the interaction of sound and matter. He's a fantastic thinker. Would make a great snake. Okay.
Ah.
Okay, so would be a guest suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura's here. She's taking all these
I'm
notes.
liking these suggestions, people.
No more suggestions, please.
Yeah, too many suggestions. Don't tell us how to do our podcast. No, just joking. Yeah, the suggestions are good. Is there anything else on this? Okay. Thanks, Lauren, the man. Appreciate that.
Go back.
Oh, you need it.
Okay. This is Jeremy, called Spaceship Moonship in
Yes.
Beringia. Hey, fellas, checking in from Canada. Just found your show. Been binging it hard. Many a mindgasm, and particularly, I have many questions, but no time for that. I'm going to start writing them down, but currently I have two things I want to say. One, maybe a dumb question, hashtag not a scientist, but there are all the maps of the Ice Age glaciers, etc., which have the northern hemisphere covered with glaciers as far south in the Americas as the Canadian border-ish, yet somehow Beringia and northeast Siberia have no glaciers. Why? I don't believe the human migration story of populating Americas anyway, but perhaps this is evidence of the axis of the Earth being tilted relative to the current one, i.e. North Pole is actually in, like, Iceland or something back then. If that were true, maybe Antarctica was habitable in places. 2, listening to the Spaceship Moonship episode, and it occurred to me, it's a shield. The gods at some point gave us a shield to protect us against meteor strikes. Keep it up, fellas. Love the vibe. Peace.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start with the ice sheet stuff. Yeah, this is a question we've asked many times. We've asked it on Cosmographia with Randall, too. Like, what's the deal? Like, how come there is this section that should have been covered in ice if everything else was and it wasn't? We go through this with Hapgood. One possibility is that the pole was around Hudson Bay, right? The mass of ice that there's evidence for seems to be centered on Hudson Bay rather than the current North Pole. How would that work? Was it the entire Earth was actually different in orientation, or had the crust shifted, or something else? I don't know. And I don't think anybody does.
I think the entire Earth orientation is the least probable. Maybe it could have been like, weather patterns.
Right.
But
We've discussed that before,
because
yeah.
there are these patterns that get developed of like warm air being pulled up, and you got your polar vortex. Everybody look out.
It's gonna collapse.
So
We're all gonna
it
die.
could have collapsed. So yeah, there could be that, but there's other evidence. This is the weird thing, is there's evidence that of like trees and stuff in places that they should not be,
Yeah.
because of the amount of light that part of the globe receives every year based on that position, the current position of the crust. So there's other stuff that kind of suggested, yeah, maybe this whole chunk of crust was actually up here, and that would have put very northern areas further south on the other side, which is how you could get trees to grow in those places because they would actually have more light. It's not about heat.
Yeah.
They actually need sunlight to have photosynthesis at all. So you just don't get certain types of trees up so far north. So that's just, I don't know. It's very compelling.
Yeah, I mean,
But I think the
in
crust
parts
shifting
of
is-
Siberia, the remnants of some mammoths that were found intact or mostly intact were found with flowering plants in their stomachs that do not grow there because it's too high of a latitude. So, I mean, yes, these are good questions. And we did have another super chat up there.
Yeah.
It's Ed
They figured it
Fu,
out.
33 Australian dollars.
He says, "Hey, Snake Force. Russ, shortly I'm sending an email with evidence proving the pre-Columbus contact between Pacific Islanders and South America. To Laura, hey, girl.
Hey.
Snacks. That's cool.
Nice. It better not be a book, or I'm not going to read it. I'm
He
joking.
loves
yeah.
them.
Okay, you guys, they're scan. Look at them. Look at these two scanning the chats.
Yeah.
Is there anything good in there? Let's see.
Okay, so now we've addressed number 1 in this email. Number 2 is about the spaceship moonship. The gods gave us a shield. It is an interesting idea. I mean, I don't want to skirp this too much because yes, it will catch some things, but
It obviously has.
yes,
Caught a lot
it
of
clearly
things.
has been hit a lot of times. So is this about percentages? Because the Earth is bigger and with a bigger gravity well, and it will be it's more likely to catch things than the moon. But yes, the moon would tend to lessen, I think, the number of things that can hit Earth, but it isn't going to be a shield.
Yeah.
But maybe maybe you're doing some calculations and you're like, okay, if we just have it out there, the planet, and it has no protection at all, it's going to be hit too often. But if we put this particular sized body with this amount of mass in this particular orbit, it will drop the number of impacts by 20%, and that will be enough.
So that life can be sustained
Yeah,
and civilization
right. And
can
also, we
exist.
can give it tides, and it can be a weird thing with the sun, and we'll park it in the right spot.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So it does work as a kind of shield, or maybe like light armor, right? It can't block everything, but it blocks enough to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, only for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you have a
eventually
mass extinction
something-
event.
Yeah.
Right.
But, when that happens, go to the moon.
Yeah.
Go live on the shield.
Yeah, that's right. Go live on the shield. Like, clearly the shield is not going to be hit, so we should live there while this is happening. Okay. Okay. One more, and then we're going to take a break. This is called Neighbors, ? From Kathleen. Hi, Russ and Kyle. I'm a Houstonian who found your
Yeah.
podcast through Skeptico, and I have loved listening to the show. I followed you from episode 2. Ha! And I'm about a third of the way through. The brain expansion has been really fun. I just started the Velikovsky series and heard you talking about helping a neighbor harvest olives. We're getting ready to buy land in the hill country, and I have big dreams about olives and apricots and figs and grapes, but I heard you talking about your frustration with olive trees. We're looking near Lakey and Vance. It's pretty far west. I always figured you two were closer to Fredericksburg since you help out with a vineyard. But on the off chance that you're further west, I thought I'd check in to see if you could tell me the name of the olive ranch. I'd love to speak with someone who can educate me on the soil quality in Real or Bandera counties, where urbanites taking a big leap of faith that we'll be able to make something grow. Fingers crossed that we'll be able to make some of your local meetups once we make the purchase and can learn more about all things snakes. It's been fun to listen along your journey. Sincerely, Kathleen.
I
Don't
think
do it.
You might have to change. You might have to set your heart off of olives and onto something else like grapes.
Well, I
maybe.
mean, she's got all these other trees in mind as well, so those will be fine.
But the olives.
Well, yeah. Olives we have not had good luck with.
Yeah.
And others have not had good luck as well
Right.
either. You could check out
Apricots, figs, grapes. Yes, grapes. We have had great success with, but
figs also die in the winter.
yeah.
But some people have good success with them, so they're not as bad.
And we are close to Lakey, and Lakey is beautiful. It's a great hill country area to be in.
Yeah, the problem is we get, even if it's only a couple of days, we get deep enough freezes that it just kills all the trees. So unless you can somehow protect them during the winter from the elements, they die.
So you could check out Texas Hill Country Olive Company. This guy grew olives for like 25 years or something, and they were huge and beautiful, and this last major freeze we had just wiped them out. So
Yeah.
That place
they
that I
started
went
coming
with you?
back at the roots again. But yeah, I mean, just the whole canopy of every tree is just gone. So,
That place that I came to visit you up like near.
it's in Dripping Springs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that happened to him.
Yeah, so there are other people doing it. Make sure you don't have a cold site. I don't know. So local frost patterns can be a issue.
Yep. Okay, let's take a break.
All right. Let's see what's playing on the old radio.
Snakes.
Back, ladies and gentlemen. Is this the final segment?
It is.
It is. It is. Fastest 2 hours in podcasting. And, yeah, sorry about the congestion. It's been a topic in the chat, and I'm sure it's very obvious we are congested, so apologies for that, but, it's getting better.
It's really awkward for Russ in here because every break time you and I just turn
They
around.
start
Yeah.
blowing their nose.
That's why breaks are great.
He's just sitting there like, shit, I'm
gonna
getting
die.
it.
And I appreciate the recommendation. So we got Mom's XXXOOO for your cold. Sliced lemons and ginger, stack on in a quart jar with a lid. Pour in a quart of honey. Let it stand overnight and put a few teaspoons in your tea. Thanks, Mom.
Thank you.
I mean, like, put a few teaspoons in your hot whiskey is what it needs to say.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the tea and honey is good. I'm out. It's too bad. Oh, you got more?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
babe.
this is from Gavin from Canada. He says, Attracting Business to Your Quarry is the title. Hello, Russ and Kyle, longtime listener, first-time writer. I'll try to keep it short. Thank you, Gavin. Really appreciate that. I have listened in semi-jumbled order to every episode from number 2 through number 289, unfinished, which I've just finished. The unfinished obelisk and unfinished moai and their size and possible purposes got me thinking about a tactic some businesses today use to attract customers. Build a giant, eye-catching replica of the thing they sell. Like a giant table and chair set outside of a furniture shop. It's there to showcase the business's product and capabilities, not necessarily meant to be functional or even intended to be moved from its display space. Maybe these massive unfinished monoliths serve a similar purpose, there to showcase to potential contractors the feats of engineering the quarry was capable of. I absolutely love the show. The unfinished presentation was fantastic, and I'll be recommending it to anyone who will listen. I also think a lot about the episodes on evolution, hybridization, and species, numbers 156, 157, and 158, and I intend to go back and re-listen once I catch up on the few remaining episodes I haven't seen. Early congrats on 300 episodes. Cheers to 300 more. All the best. Gavin from Canada. Snakes!
Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to admit, that hybridization series is one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
That's just
I need to go listen to all of those. I think I've only
So
heard
good.
part of one of them. I need to check it out.
And they all were technically, I mean, it started out as a response to.
it was a fight.
Yeah. It was a response to a giant compliment sandwich we got. Basically, it was like, you guys are great. You sound dumb when you talk about evolution, but you're awesome. And
Yeah.
I remember that part.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Greed tea, we have been doing the neti pot a lot.
Yeah, listen to these guys.
Daddy
We've
pot.
been doing the daddy
Daddy
pot.
Been doing the daddy
We've
pot.
been doing it a lot. Okay. What else we got here? This is... okay, from... Wow. Oh, okay. So he says, I would love to hear you try to pronounce my strange Dutch name. Yes. Tijen van der Zandt. Dear brother, so it's titled Some New Ancient Material and Some Known Stuff and a Cool Documentary from the Netherlands. Dear brothers, I am a huge fan of your podcast. Loved your stuff about Velikovsky. Your book reports are the best. So are your shows with Randall. Anywho, I'm just a couch potato scientist from the Netherlands. Yes, a former professor in AI. Loving all sorts of stuff related to ancient history. It's just, well, the Netherlands is a pile of mud. So there's not so much ancient stuff except for some dolmens. Well, dude. Dolmens.
Except for Dolan.
I mean, come on. Besides that, anything the Germans and the French threw in a river, we got it out of the river and made some dikes to steal underwater land from the North Sea. Besides that, we, the Dutch, are like a garbage bin race because many foreign countries at one moment in time or another invaded us. Spain, England, Germany, French, Romans from Italy, Vikings, etc., or liberated us, USA, Canada, UK. And, well, they mixed their genes with our female population. So basically, I could even argue that the Netherlands is just a strange Germanic Viking accent on a pile of mud. But that is beside the point I would like to make. I just ran into a documentary from Marijan Poles, who, yes, that's what I thought. You'd never heard of the guy, but he made an awesome documentary. I thought you might fancy that with some of your early wine tastings. After digging into the guy, it seems that he has made more interesting stuff. So he's got a documentary here called The Primordial Code. You might want to find another source because I could not find English subtitles for all the weird European languages in there. But there's even some stuff from this documentary that I have never heard of from Sardinia, and I have really followed this ancient stuff for the past 40 years. Still, this is probably just a lack of my knowledge. Looks a bit like the Malta stuff. I went to Kish Island in Iran to visit underground caves that, according to local scientists, are more than 10,000 years old and were used to, quote, shelter from the sun, unquote.
Wow.
Those caves have their own natural water purification system, and people would only get out of the caves at night. Sound familiar? Sound like Professor Shock's theory to me. Could also be interesting to look into. Anywho, I thought you might like this info, and who knows, it might help in the larger narrative of the ancient ancients. Cheers. Tijen van der Zandt, PhD. And yes, he says, I would love to hear you pronounce that Dutch name. Man, that's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Description.
We have to get
Germanic Viking accent on a pile of mud is basically what the Netherlands is.
maybe we can, yeah. We got to get somebody to translate it for us, huh?
Yeah, The Primordial Code is the name of the documentary. He's got a link to it on Rumble here.
Oh. It's on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be sketchy.
Yeah, thanks for the email, man.
All right
I also this thing about these caves that people use to hide from the sun, and it only came out at night.
Yeah, that's cool.
So either there was a giant solar eruption, or they were vampires.
Look, we've been
could be
hiding
either
from
one.
the sun for thousands of years.
Yes.
It's a thing will kill you.
Yes. It will. Okay. This is from Ben. It's called UFO Series and Bone Picking. Hello, Snake Bros. Okay, wait. This is Edfu. Yes.
Ah.
This is Edfu. It says Edfu here. Okay, so hello, Snake Bros. Edfu here. Hope all is well with you and the rest of the Serpentine family. Now I have a bone to pick with Russ and Laura. A while back on perhaps episode 293 or 295, I was, read in French accent, accused of giving away some secrets for the Procession album. Ah, yes. I remember this. And I was like, insert appropriate sound bites consecutively. Hold up. Wait a minute. And then, hell no, hell to the no. You got to play it.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
I messed it up. Sorry, bro.
So what's this got to do with me?
You guys.
Why
y'all
is he
gave him-
picking the
y'all,
bone?
Y'all talk trash.
Well, Kyle was like, he's giving away secrets, and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Oh, okay.
What? You blaming me for saying that?
I didn't say it. I didn't know he was giving away secrets. You're the only one that knows that. By the way, the Procession album is now in my top 20 albums of all time.
Wow,
It is
man.
that damn good. When I introduce friends
thanks,
to this
bro.
album in $50 Dynasty, I preface it with, "This is the greatest band you have never heard of." Then I'm like, damn, no, that's my new band name now. The greatest band you have never heard of. Now on to the real reason I am writing the spookiest story never told. Holy shit. Okay, where to start? I guess I start by saying this. I wasn't into the whole UFO thing that much, but I caught the spookiest story never told part 2 and then part 3. Part 3 really grabbed me, so I went back and listened to the spookiest story never told part 1, and then I listened to part 2 and part 3 again. Now I am totally hooked and currently going through the entire UFO series. Part 5 absolutely blew my mind. This whole thing is so intriguing. Marty has an incredible talent for putting this into a coherent series of events, which is nothing short of extremely impressive considering the amount of material being referenced. Switching to Russ reading was a killer move. Russ, you have a great feel on how to convey Marty's writing, and you are spot on at the points where you pause to ask questions. Oh, thank you. In my opinion, this has added an entirely new dimension to the storytelling of this series. It also allows Marty time to think and interject where he thinks more context should be given. Russ, now I understand when you said all these things like UFO phenomena, ancient myths and civilization, 411, Sam Squanch, fairies, etc. could all be connected. I get it now. It makes sense, and that statement rings true through this series. Marty, you are an effing legend, and I hope you will reference all the source material and books, etc., because I gotta have them. I mean, seriously, man, I gotta have them. The only downside is I have to stop listening to this series in bed before sleeping, because after listening to part 4 last night in bed, I had a freaking alien attack nightmare, and it was pretty freaky. The extra strange part was, just as the attack was happening in my dream, I woke up and my 3-year-old son was crying, so I jumped in bed with him to help him back to sleep. I honestly do think that was a coincidence, but I may skip listening to this series while in bed, getting ready to sleep, moving forward. Kyle, you have a refrain line in Epoch where you ask, "Are we alone?" and then repeat "alone" 3 more times in an awesome melody, I might add, and then call and response style you answer with "We are alone." Now you might need to do an alternate version that says "We aren't alone." God damn, I love this UFO series, the Snake Bros and the Snake Force. Oh, and lastly, I will send another email to you guys shortly that is proof, yes, proof, that Pacific Islanders reached South America somewhere between 1100 and 1300 AD. I will try and send this through in the next couple of days, so you might have it before you read this email. Snakes! Well, he didn't do it because he just said he was going to send it, and we just read the email, so I haven't got... Well, maybe he did. Is this what I got here?
Ty tried to get me to change those lyrics at the end to "We aren't alone." I'm like, bro, no. No. I have multiple reasons for not changing that, but I know because it's... Yeah, the idea that we are alone is terrifying. Also terrifying if we aren't. So... Right now, it seems like we are, but that is a lie, most likely.
Yeah. An illusion.
Yeah.
Purposefully caused.
Yeah. The answer, the answer for so long is "we are alone."
Yeah.
because that's what is they're wanting us to believe, I suppose.
Yeah, and is it the phenomena that wants us to believe that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes. It's like there's a gatekeeping operation happening, you know.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. This is about the Heather episode. Heather Shy is the title. And this is from Jenna. Greetings, bros. Your most recent episode was my favorite ever. I love that you guys are entertaining spiritual questions and perspective. Thank you so much for branching out. Can you share the contact information for Heather, or was that omission intentional to give her some privacy? Thanks, guys. Take care. So it was intentional. Heather used to do this as a business. She no longer does this as, she doesn't do it professionally anymore. But this was what she did for a while. But now she has a family, and she's taking care of the family, and that's her focus. So we didn't leave any contact information because she's not taking on clients, basically. So that is the answer to that. Maybe we didn't totally make that clear during the episode.
Yeah,
because I've seen quite a few people asking that question.
Frank knows. You don't take lyric advice from guitar players. Actually, Ty wrote the initial lyrics on that song. He kind of wrote the core of the song, and then I filled it out with the verses and the outro. So, I do take his advice, but it is a joke that we're just like, no.
Yeah.
Whenever he gives bad advice, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't take your advice.
The amount of shit talking that went on during the recording and working on that album was epic. I mean, it just, you know.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
We destroy each other constantly.
Okay. This is from Paul. Okay. It's called All the Miles.
Oh.
Hello, Snake Bros. It's been a few minutes since my last email, but I've been wanting to write you for some time now. I've been reading through Magicians of the Gods, and the same question keeps popping up in my head. Where are the megalithic sites of North America? The mound builders had agriculture and astronomy, so why not architecture? Having been to Cahokia, I know firsthand that they could make massive things, so they were not lazy. Many mounds have precise alignment, so they were not dummies either. What am I missing? I really like the tales of the little people sods. I just finished Tim Renner's book Where the Footprints End, and there is a lot of correlation. All of this is connected somehow with what Marty has been discussing. Too many damn mysteries. You guys got me reading all kinds of books I never would have read 4 years ago before I found Brothers of the Serpent. My brain can't handle this expansion. I've been doing a lot of traveling with the family. We're headed out west next month to spend a week near a small town in New Mexico called Roswell. Have you ever heard of this? I sure hope we can find neat things to do in this area. Let me know if you have any ideas. That's all for now. Keep making them sods, brothers. A week with no new Brothers of the Serpent is like a week without sunshine or beer. And shout out to the brew pastor.
Shout out to the brew pastor,
Yeah.
indeed.
Paul from Ohio. P.S. I was going through older $50 Dynasty songs on the YouTubes when I came across the hidden gem All the Miles. This song is amazing. It instantly brought me back to September 1999 when I barely endured a terrible breakup. It reminded me of the pain that I was able to survive and how I'm stronger now because of it. This song needs more airtime.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, so there's we did this sort of single release. Like if you released a single on a record, it was really two songs because you got an A side and a B side, so you might as well put another song on there. And it's All the Miles and On Down the Road. And we just hadn't done anything in so long. We're like, hey, let's do these two songs. So it's weird. The band is like, we still jam, but we just go long periods of time without doing anything. And then we do something. So, yep. I love that song too, bro.
And I
Appreciate
loved
it.
the artwork too for that.
Yeah.
Those two songs. That like
Yeah, that
dashboard or
classic
whatever.
car
Yeah.
dashboard, yeah.
Okay. This is from the Quantum Masshole. It says, caution, tinfoil hat is advised. Hello, Snake Bros. It is I, the Quantum Masshole. I wanted to throw out a question that has recently popped into my head. I was thinking about the skyship sighting at the church where an anchor was recovered. I was thinking about the Philadelphia experiment where the ship reportedly shifted through time and space and had been seen in multiple places in different various dates. Maybe what the church congregation had seen was the ship used in the experiment. Is it possible that was the ship they had seen? I have no idea, but it was fun to think about. I also wanted to say congrats on 300 episodes. You guys have created something amazing and built an amazing community around it. I wanted to say thank you for everything. Sincerely, from the Quantum Masshole.
I love
P.S. I wonder if there's a way to see if the USS Eldridge, which was the ship involved in the experiment, was missing an anchor afterwards. Something worth looking into, possibly. Mic drop.
I love it. I love it. How do we find out? Is there a way to find out?
I don't know. That's a good question. We're going to ask Marty about this.
Speaking of the anchors, I want to go up just a little above San Angelo. I can't remember now where the anchor is supposed to be in the museum. I read it in Passport to Magonia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I would like to see that.
I'm spacing on the name of that place right now. Merkel or something weird like that. Anyway, I want to go see that anchor. I think that's cool.
All right, Thought on Fire 222, $5.55 says, if the moon was parked, then wouldn't that placement cause axial tilt of Earth and therefore major cataclysms?
I don't think so. I mean, there's no reason why the moon should cause axial tilt. It doesn't. Its orbit isn't exactly isn't in the plane of the ecliptic, not the celestial one, right?
It's like, I thought it was like 6 degrees off.
Yeah.
Or something.
Of the ecliptic, right?
Is it the ecliptic? Yeah, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Watcher, do your job.
Maybe it is the celestial plane, but it wobbles. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, if a body that size entered into this Earth system, yes. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it would be axial tilt or not. It would cause major.
Oh yeah, it would cause all kinds of problems. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool.
And it really depends on how it ends up in orbit. Like, is there a close pass?
If it's smashed into Earth, and 2 giant blobs sank down, and then a piece was thrown off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Kyle likes the impact story for the moon.
Well,
you don't like the Sitchin one, the
which one is that?
where it used to be, it was the moon of Tiamat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That one's great. Yeah, it was snatched by
Well, the Earth is like half of Tiamat.
yeah.
Yeah. The other half
That's
of
why the
Tiamat is
moon's
the
so-
asteroid belt.
That's why the moon's so freaking big compared to Earth.
Right.
Frankenstein wants to know, what do you mean parked? And I've kind of been wondering the same thing.
Like
Parked
Jim
like a
Carrey
ship.
style, like a glove.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody
what you're
drove it in there.
Somebody
Stopped it
drove
Yeah,
it.
you
perfectly.
park it in orbit, right? This is what you do with a ship.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
okay. There you go, Frankenstein. Now we both understand it.
Yeah. It's just a term meaning like it was put there.
It had the agency, in other words, was
Yeah.
involved here
Yeah.
to put it there.
So it may have been driven, or it could have been pulled on a trailer. Is that what you said? We don't actually know.
Well, like a space tug or something.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you do it? I would think that you would just mount engines to the thing if you were going to move it, you know, if
Okay.
you have some kind of long, if you got time, you mount a whole bunch of giant fusion engines to the surface
Okay.
in a place where it's got a good solid bedrock to attach to, because it's going to be exerting force on it for hundreds of years if you got time. And you just like turn those engines on, give them some fuel supply, and let them go. Let them burn for a long time, get the thing moving into orbit, and then you start slowing it down by doing reverse burns. And you
Okay.
park it in the orbit you want, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it now.
So in that scenario, maybe it wouldn't cause major cataclysm.
Right, because it's brought in a controlled fashion.
But it would start sloshing the seas around, and then that would be
It would cause
cataclysmic.
Yes, it would cause tides for sure. Yeah.
It would cause volcanism, all of that. Yeah, I just think no matter what, if you bring something into a system that's been stable for so long, something that big,
Yeah.
it's going to mess a lot of things up because the tides would have weather patterns associated with them that would change a bunch of currents and ocean currents. Probably have a mass extinction event.
Yep.
Because a bunch of the stuff in the ocean
But
would
the
die.
question is would it tilt the axis? And
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The hitch is on the dark side.
Oh, there's a trailer hitch on the dark side where the space tug grabbed onto it. Yeah. Okay. This one is it's a couple of short ones from Rich from the UK. Says it's called Thank You. It says I've thoroughly enjoyed every episode. Intelligent, open-minded, and upbeat conversation with healthy skepticism. It resonates. Thanks, fellas. In software, there's an ever-evolving mental map of knowledge to build. Understanding A requires B and C. However, understanding B and C requires A and or B. My point is that I wasn't even aware D existed until just now. Thank you for taking us on your journey. Great Discord, friendly people, fascinating subjects, and a much appreciated oasis of zero politics. Rich from the UK. P.S. I wouldn't look for the Grail in France. They've already got one. Where's the soundbite?
I know.
He's already got one, you see?
There it is.
And yes, the Discord's a great place.
It is.
I've never been there.
Hey, this is how much sand we have left, and that's how many gifts we have down there.
Yeah, okay.
You guys do that math.
Math is hard. And fake.
All right, so we're going to open some one-up boxes.
Yeah.
Kyle told me today about the guy that had the argument with the AI about dividing by 0 or multiplying by
You see
0.
it?
Yeah, that was cool. By the way, I did check that whole thing out in the Discord. I just didn't respond.
But he told me
I'm
all
not
about
good.
it, and it was awesome.
I'm not good at responding.
This is says 4301 from Clueless Krees.
Yep.
It is an envelope full of cash.
Hey.
Cold hard cash.
Cold.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. Do you
That's
know how
awesome.
much it is?
I think it was one of those special numbers that
Is
you
it-
ding for.
Is it 301?
I
Oh,
can't
really?
remember.
Really?
I just remember when I counted it the first time, I was like, oh, that's going to be a dinger.
Wow. Cash donation. Thank you. You see this?
There's a $2 bill in here.
a bag of books.
Yay!
Maybe
I'm
these are for
excited.
Laura.
Yeah.
Okay, because my library is
Yes,
full.
I have taken on the book thing
Wow.
from Russ.
It's 133.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And there's a $2 bill. in
And a
there.
$2 bill. That's awesome.
Let me check that puppy out again.
Thank you very much. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it is a bag of books from our friend Chandra Shell. Snake Bros have enclosed some books from speakers presenting at the recent conference on Precession and Ancient Knowledge, CPAC, held in the Palm Springs area. The first book, The Giza Power Plant, you covered as a 6-part book report a while back. I reminded the author, Chris Dunn, that he should once again be a guest on your podcast once his new book, The Tesla Giza Connection, comes out next year. Yeah, and I pre-ordered that one for Kindle. Okay? Electronically. He fondly recalled being contacted about that book report as you were covering it, and then eventually came on as a guest. For the next book, we have Marco Vigato's The Empires of Atlantis, which has been my favorite book that I've come across over the past year. The author incorporates a lot of very recent research and even mentions the cardinal alignments of megalithic sites referred to in the work of Mario Buildreps. Marco also appeared in the second episode of Ancient Apocalypse on megalithic Mexico. For the next book, we have the debut of Hugh Newman's Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, the world's first megaliths. Always love his little books, which remind me of a researcher's field notebook. And last but not least, we have Walter Cruttenden's Lost Star Myth and Time. To date, this is still the best book for explaining the celestial mechanics of precession. I wish I'd read this book a long time ago, since I now consider it foundational to understanding this entire concept. Plus, it's so much easier to understand than Hamlet's Mill. Okay, hey. Walter is also the owner of the CPAC conference, which he and his family have hosted for nearly 20 years. He also runs the Binary Research Institute located here in Orange County. Anyway, I hope you're building your own Library of the Serpent as an add-on to the Snake Family compound so that you have room for all the books that your listeners keep sending you. As always, keep up the great work. Love all the topics that you select to cover. We hope to see you soon at another Contact at the Cabin event. Snakes! From Chandra.
I'm handling the book situation with care. Trust me.
Yes. I mean, I love the books.
Thank
but
you, Chandra.
Man, I have a bunch of bookshelves, as many as I can cram into the tower, and they're all full. And I already threw away everything that I could throw away or donate, and there's just no room. Okay, so yes, I actually have this one.
So I'll take
And
that
this
one.
one.
Then. Okay, hand him over.
Okay, this is a CPAC pamphlet. I would love to go to that. Ben went there and presented, and he said he met some great people there, too. Okay, this is the Hugh Newman field notebook.
That looks
on
like
Quebec.
a book I can read.
Okay, this is a book for Kyle.
Thank you.
The Empires of Atlantis. See, I'll look for these two that I have never read on Kindle and see if I can find them and go through them. Empires of Atlantis and Lost Star of Myth and Time. Thank you, Chandra. And this is a fantastic
Thank you.
Giant jumbo bag.
Ziploc bag.
Love your
that.
stuff that you sent us.
Oh,
It says Kyle on it.
this message is
Yeah,
for
so
me.
this next one was all one package, and one was for you, and one was for Kyle.
Oh, okay. Well, then this is... We gotta have where's the one-up sound, too?
Oh, which one? Oh,
All right,
oh goodness.
Kyle.
Oh, no.
It's handwritten.
You might remember something on the patio at the Cosmic Summit about playing the flute. You mentioned that the one you had needed work. Oh my gosh. Well, I think when I'm not sure what this is.
Tough to read.
Oh, was going through some storage. I found my flute and all my instruction books and videos
Oh, wow.
from when I learned how to play.
Oh, wow.
I was barely proficient enough to accompany the choir and other musicians at church. As soon as I saw it, I thought of you. It's only a beginner model, but it works. And as I wasn't sure if you actually knew how to play, I'm enclosing the books and videos. Maybe one day I'll hear my old flute on a FDD song. That's awesome.
Laura's reaction.
Or maybe someone else in your crew can use it. Of course, I
You gonna become a
couldn't send you
flautist?
something without something for Russ as well. Why not? Here's Russ. I've already got my tickets and reservations for the Summit 2024.
Yay.
What a fabulous weekend. Love to you and yours, Laura Kotu.
La la
Thank you
C.
so much, La La
Thank you.
Lala
C.
C. You should know better
I know.
than to send us handwritten.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lala.
Open it up.
Well, yeah.
I have to be Grumpy Russ right now. You should know better. But thank you. Yeah. Okay, so this one says, Dear Russ, I had something for Kyle, but couldn't send him a box without something for you. Enclosed here is a special Snake Force Adventures toolkit, including a rock hammer that can also be used for self-defense. Although you shouldn't forget snake boots and a helmet, hat with netting to ward off insects and eyelash vipers and such. You guys are a gift to us all, along with so many others who are awakening the masses to a new paradigm, at least as far as the reality of our history and the world we inhabit. I don't know what this says. Something, it is all part of the awakening so many have talked about. Hope to see you all at the 2024 eclipse, trying to work that out, and at the Cosmic Summit 24. Enjoy what you have created for those who can't but sit back and watch. Safe travels. Love to you all. from Lala C.
Well, I see.
VHS.
Oh, VHS tapes.
What is this?
How are you supposed to get the information off of that? Do we even
Looks like I'm gonna have to go to Marty's warehouse. Start digging around in there. Thank you so much. That's hilarious.
But look at this.
I
mean, this is a proper.
oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
I actually do have a cassette tape deck. These are the flute how to play books. So you must know that this is a big conversation that's happening recently in our family here. Is
How do you even
me
open
getting
this
the
thing?
kids, or at least Soul at this point, started on seriously working on an instrument, and
Oh.
Laura is also working on an instrument.
I am.
I am.
Kyle was like, everyone has to learn an instrument.
Oh,
No
okay.
questions asked. Everyone pick one.
Yeah, pick an
Yeah,
instrument.
pick one
So we all have to pick an instrument.
Okay.
and get through the hard part.
Yeah, that's
This
good.
is cool.
All right, so you got a flute. Yeah, look at that.
This is awesome. So
Are you getting that thing open?
I don't know. I don't know how to open it. Like
You have
this?
to take it. You are gonna have to pull the.
You pull these all the way out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can it just be a clip?
Well, it's not that.
I guess not.
Wow.
see if I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sweet bag, no matter what. Okay, so there's gloves, hammers. Yeah, look at this rock hammer.
Oh my, that's nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kyle's gonna try to play a little ditty for us here.
I don't know if I can.
You're gonna have to
Oh, wait,
make
this has
something,
to go
some
this
sound
way.
come out of that.
Thank you, Lala. That's great.
Thank you so much.
I haven't played in a while.
Nice.
The valves work. That's
They
the
work.
important- Mine wouldn't seal up, so it was really hard to get notes. Yeah.
You should bring that
That's
to
cool.
Egypt and let Yusuf take a little
Ooh, that's a
turn
good
on it.
idea. Thank you so much, Lala.
Thank you.
C.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on it now. I just gave up on the old one because it was so hard to like get certain notes to come out of it. So yeah, I will definitely work on this.
Christmas
Awesome.
came early.
And we
Merry
got
Christmas.
We got one more from Ed Fu,
Yeah.
and then we can wrap it up.
Let's see.
Got producers, maybe. We have Patreon ones for sure.
I'm gonna lead a riot with this flute. Just go marching down the street. Dude.
All
Yeah.
the cats will follow you. All the stray cats.
Whatever happened to that? Huh? Now people just throw bricks and use masks. We need people marching with a guy with a drum. or
Yeah, a
something
drum,
in
and
the
I'll do the drum if you got the flute. Yeah, we'll do it.
All right, Ed Food text you later. $20.
20
says-
Australians.
Says random thought, was Pink Floyd secretly hinting at something with their Dark Side of the Moon album cover, a prism/pyramid showing dispersion, splitting white light into visible color spectrum. Pyramid on the dark side.
That is
I wouldn't be
interesting.
surprised.
I wouldn't either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Hey, the artists figure this stuff out first. The aliens speak to the artists first. The artists are always on like the frontier, and then everybody else catches up later.
Yeah, I mean yeah. I mean, but also sometimes they're just good old boys. Like Chris Bledsoe is like he
I guess
he was a
you're right.
commercial pilot, and then he started building houses, so he's a construction guy.
Okay.
But maybe he's also an artist because he did say he painted some of the stuff that he saw.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Sam.
All right, so we're gonna do. Is that it?
Yeah,
I was
we're
thinking
done.
the Pied
Producers?
Piper too, Matthew.
Yeah. Let me pull up the.
Yeah, I got my flannel. Dude.
Yeah, you're ready.
I'm ready to do
Ready to
Pied
be-
Piper.
Pied Piper. Yeah.
Got a flute that works.
All right. Let me. Do we have any other producers too? Because I gotta change this filter in here. Sorry.
I don't.
All right. Let me. Let me see here.
But yeah, it's been great. I wish I could have followed the chat a little closer, but I can't read the chat and also listen to the emails, so I have to ignore it for the periods of time for the emails.
So
but it's always great fun.
Is a producer for this with that?
Yes, she's definitely a producer. But she was also wanting. I mean, that was for 301, but we'll make her producer on this one, and I'll go back and put her on.
There
301.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got you, girl.
I just have to remember. Okay. Okay. So, executive producers, we have Philip Baklamov, Matt Shy, thanks, buddy. Peter Shell, thank you, Peter. And Zachariah Baker, all at the 72 level Ascended Master.
Ascended Snakeforce Master.
Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon at that level. And then we have, let's see, at the associate executive producer for this week, we have Jim Niggles, Captain River Rat, Chris James, Daniel Gandy, David Cortes, and Patrick Hicks, the patron saint of the podcast. Thank you guys so much.
Commanders all.
Commanders all.
This is one of my favorite ones. Love this.
All right. And yes, thank you guys all for being in the chats.
Yeah, I really
for
appreciate it.
donating
Yes,
to the
thank
show.
you.
We really appreciate it.
Great hanging with you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
We love
Thanks
you guys.
to the watcher.
Yeah.
Always have.
Always will.
I love you the most.
Good night, Damu.
Get back to work.
Woo! What's on the radio?
Snakes.
There we go.